Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Amityville Union Creek School District Board of Education meeting. Today's date is February the 11th. I'm calling the meeting to order now at 5:43 p.m. In attendance at the meeting tonight is myself, Board President Mr. Johnson. My first Vice President, Ron Leon, should be arriving shortly. Second Vice President Chris Naring is here. Trustees Carol Seahawk and Megan Messman is here, and it's anticipated that Leslie Press will be arriving shortly as well. Also in attendance tonight is our Superintendent, Dr. Jane Talbot, our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction, Mary Stevens, our Director of Human Resources, Dr. Landau, and our Interim Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Operations, Mr. Snyder. Also in attendance this evening are our legal counsel, John Sheeney, as well as John Gross. At this point in time, at 5:44 p.m., I'd like a motion to enter into executive session regarding a particular person's employment history and advice from counsel. Carol Steele first. With Mayor in second, all those in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion carries 4-0. We anticipate resuming open at 7:30. Thank you for joining us.
Board of Education meeting. I apologize for the delay. There were a number of issues that we needed to speak about in executive session. We are resuming open now at 8 o'clock. At this point in time, if you have not done so already, could you please silence your cell phone and join the board in the Pledge of Allegiance. Dr. Talbot, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Good evening, President Johnson, members of the Board of Education, and members of our Amityville school community. I would like to take a moment to highlight some of the happenings throughout our district in the area of community and service. In celebration of Valentine's Day, students at Northwest Elementary School participated in a heartfelt service project by creating cards and letters for local veterans as part of State Senator Monica Martinez's initiative. Alumni engagement. Amityville Memorial High School welcomed alumni back for Alumni Day. Former students shared their post-secondary journeys during a panel discussion, offering candid advice and inspiration to current students as they prepare for life after graduation. A little bit about academic progress, instruction, and leadership. As we continue reviewing student data and refining intervention plans, we proudly acknowledge district-wide academic gains over the past 2 years. Special congratulations to Principal Ed Pelaya, Paul Duguay, and Park Avenue Memorial Elementary School, which has demonstrated improvement in all 3 ELA grades over the past 2 years, even exceeding state benchmarks, and sustained growth in grades 3 and 4 over the past 4 years. This week, we held productive meetings with our outstanding secondary school counselors at Edmund W. Miles Middle School and Amityville Memorial High School. Our discussions centered on strengthening academic support, expanding college and career readiness and opportunities, and enhancing student support systems to ensure every learner is positioned for success. We also conducted a leadership network walkthrough at Northeast Elementary School, during which we captured significant glows aligned with our Domain 3 of our instructional rubric, highlighting strong student engagement and instructional delivery. The visit contributed to the development of a mini action plan outlining clear next steps for continued growth, and we are very proud of the intentional work under Dr. Collins and the staff of Northeast that's taking place with our youngest scholars. Data analysis and instructional planning remain a premier focus in our ongoing discussions with our building instructional leaders. Our principals and leadership teams are leading the charge in implementing school-wide initiatives and continuous improvement efforts across the district. On the agenda this evening is the RECOV program, which focuses on addressing learning loss and accelerating student achievement. We are looking forward to expanding parent programs on Saturdays and providing additional learning opportunities for students district-wide to further support academic growth. Registration update. Our UPK registration is ongoing, with 52 students already registered for the 26-27 school year, and limited spaces are still available. Pre-K and kindergarten registration remains open. We encourage families to help spread the word throughout the community. A little bit from our athletics. The Edmund W. Miles Middle School boys basketball team completed an outstanding season with a 9-1 record. We congratulate our players, coaches, and families on a season they can truly be proud of. Black History Month programs. We look forward to celebrating Black History Month across the district with the following programs. February 12th, Northeast. February 13th, Northwest is February 12th. February 13th, Northeast. February 26th, Park Avenue. February 27th, Edmund W. Miles and the Amityville Memorial High School will take place during the day, and the district-wide celebration will take place that evening at 6 p.m. These programs provide meaningful opportunities for reflection, celebration, and learning as we honor the contributions and legacy of Black leaders, innovators, and community members. Student voice and leadership. I would now like to conclude my report by highlighting important voices in our district, our student scholars. This evening, you will first view a short introductory video featuring our SSLC members, members of the Superintendent's Student Leadership Council. Immediately after the video, the students will deliver their presentation directly to the Board of Education and share insights gathered from their peers. These conversations continue to provide valuable perspectives and reinforce the importance of elevating student voice in district decision-making. At this time, we ask that you would give your attention to the screen.
Good evening, President Johnson, Board of Education members, faculty, staff, community, and fellow peers. My name is Aaliyah McQueen, and I am a senior at the Amityville Memorial High School and am a student ex officio board member. As ex officio student board members of the Board of Education, our role is to represent student perspectives and help connect the experiences of students to the work of the district. One of the most meaningful ways we do this is through our involvement in the Superintendent Student Leadership Council, or otherwise known as the SSLC. The SSLC meets monthly with the superintendent and members of the district cabinet, where we learn about district initiatives and share student perspectives on important topics. These meetings have helped us better understand how decisions are made and how student voice can play a role in shaping them. As a council, we have completed leadership profiles that helped us learn more about our individual leadership styles and how we work as a team. This has allowed us to grow not only as student leaders, but as collaborators and communicators. We were also inspired by a visit from the Suffolk County Legislature for the 15th District and Minority Leader, Jason Richburg, who spoke with us about leadership and the opportunities available to young people who are willing to step up and serve their communities. In addition, we have been learning about the New York State's Portrait of a Graduate, which outlines the skills and attributes we should possess when we leave the Amityville School District. This has helped us learn more deeply about what it truly means to be prepared for life after graduation. As part of our leadership development, we are also reading The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens by Sean Covey, which has encouraged us to reflect on responsibility, goal setting, teamwork, and personal growth. We are extremely grateful to be part of the SSLC. This program has helped us grow as leaders, given us a voice in meaningful conversations, and shown us that students can play an important role in shaping the future of our district. We are learning a lot, and we are proud to represent our peers. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sarai Mullings, and I'm an 11th grader and an ex officio board member. Tonight, you'll hear from our Superintendent Student Leadership Council, made up of students from both the middle and high schools, who recently visited Park Avenue, the middle school, and the high school to hold focus groups about the 2026-2027 budget. Our goal as student leaders was to listen carefully to our peers, not to share our own opinions, but to capture what students across our schools are experiencing and hoping for. After the focus groups, we came together as a council to review and discuss the feedback, looking for patterns and common themes. That's why we're here tonight, to share authentic student perspectives and give student voices a platform at the board table. This work is an important part of making sure that student experiences help guide district decisions. I'm so proud of the thoughtfulness, leadership, and professionalism our council members have shown. We hope by sharing what we heard, you can see that not just the ideas of individual students, but the shared vision of our schools, and understand the impact student voices can have when they are truly heard.
Hi, my name is Frances Grande Canales, and I'm a 12th grader at Amityville Memorial High School. When we met with students, we asked them to talk about what their school experience is really like and what helps them do their best in school. We weren't there to make promises or share our own opinions. Instead, we wanted to make sure students felt heard and that their ideas were shared honestly. Well, what we're presenting tonight comes directly from what students told us in their own words and from their own experiences. One big takeaway was SAT prep.
Good evening. My name is Abigail Brown, and I am 11th grader at Amityville High School. Last month, we held small focus group discussions at Park Avenue, the middle school, and the high school, inviting students to share their thoughts in a comfortable, respectful setting. We encourage students to speak openly and honestly about their experiences in school, what's working, what's challenging, and what they feel could make a difference. We asked open-ended questions so students could talk about what matters most to them, and as we listened, we looked for common themes across schools and grade levels to better understand what students are experiencing district-wide.
Good evening. My name is Ariana Harazo. I am a 12th grader at Amityville Memorial High School. After reviewing all the feedback from our focus groups, we noticed several clear themes across all 3 schools. While each school shared its own unique experiences, many students talked about the same priorities, things that directly affect how they learn, how they feel in school, and how connected they feel to their community. Tonight, we will walk you through the themes students mention most often and that directly connect to the budget conversation, including academic support, mental health and wellness, school environment and facilities, extracurricular engagement, and technology and learning resources. These themes reflect what students believe would make the biggest difference in their day-to-day school experience.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Malik Solomon, and I am an 11th grader at Amityville Memorial High School. One major theme we heard across our focus groups was academic support. Students shared that they want more opportunities for extra help and enrichment. This includes ACT and SAT prep, tutoring, especially for AP classes, additional study hall support, and expanded academic programs that help them succeed academically. Students also talked about learning experiences beyond the classroom. Many mentioned the value of field trips to museums and aquariums, as well as cultural experiences such as Broadway shows like Hamilton. These experiences were seen as a way to connect learning to real life and make it more meaningful. In addition, students expressed interest in upgrading musical instruments, more clubs, such as a JROTC program for students that choose to take a military path. Some students also share that positive academic reinforcement motivates them and helps them stay engaged and confident. This theme came up in all three schools, and students felt it was important because it helps them feel more supported, more motivated, and better prepared for their future.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. My name is Leah Stevenson, and I am a sixth grader at Amityville Middle School. Another theme students talked about was mental health and wellness. Students shared that they would like things like meditation rooms, mental health circles, and wellness clubs, including activities like yoga. They also said that they would like more speakers to come into the school to talk about mental health and mindfulness. Some students also shared that they would like idea boxes where they can share thoughts or concerns and feel heard at school. Many students explained that this affects their school experience because it helps them feel calmer, supported, and ready to learn. This feedback was especially common among middle and high school students, including sixth graders.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Jaquan Thompson. I'm a 10th grader at Avenue Memorial High School. The third major theme we want to share is school environment and facilities. Students talked about how the condition of their school buildings and outdoor spaces affects how they feel and how they can focus. For examples, students at Park Ave mentioned flickering and buzzing lights and shared concerns about the playground surface, saying they would like softer materials to land on instead of wood chips, as well as playground swings. Students also shared ideas about improving outdoor spaces at the middle school and the high school. Students talked about the need for improved outdoor fields so they can safely and fully participate in physical activities. At the high school, students also suggested beautifying the courtyard area to make it more make it a more welcoming space. Students at Park Ave mentioned wanting more gym equipment and productive gear, such as shin guards for outdoor play. Across all schools, students have talked about the need for improvement to the air conditioning and heating systems, explaining that classroom comfort has a direct impact on learning. Students told us that these improvements would help them feel safer and more comfortable and engaged, which supports both learning and overall well-being.
Good evening. My name is Christina Martinez, and I'm an 11th grader at Amityville Memorial High School. Another major theme students shared was extracurriculars and student engagement. Many students say they want more internships and good job opportunities, driver's education, career-based clubs, and more Leaders of Tomorrow programs offered across the district. They also want a wider variety of clubs and more reward systems to recognize student achievements and encourage participation. Students explain that these opportunities matter because they help them stay engaged, motivated, and connected to school. When students can explore their interests, prepare for their future, and be recognized for their efforts, they are more likely to feel invested in their education. One student shared, when school helps us prepare for real life and rewards our hard work, it makes us want to show up and do better.
Good evening. My name is Jackson Nearing, and I'm an eighth grader at EWMMS. Another major theme students shared was technology and resources. At all three schools, students talked about wanting a better balance between Chromebooks and paper assignments. Some students mentioned that they would like a wireless mouse and updated Chromebooks. They also shared that technology can sometimes be distracting, so having paper assignments as an option can help them focus. Students also said that they would like improved Wi-Fi because in some parts of the building the connection can be spotty, which makes it learning harder. This matters because students need reliable technology and flexible learning tools to do their best work. When technology works well and is balanced with traditional options, students can focus, stay organized, and learn more efficiently. One student shared, when the Wi Fi works and we have the tools we need, it's easier to focus and get our work done.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Allison Galindo, and I'm a senior at Amityville Memorial High School. Now that we shared the five main themes academic support, mental health and wellness, school environment, facilities, extracurriculars, and engagement, along with technology and resources, I want to highlight how this feedback connects to the budget. Some of the ideas students shared connect directly to budget decisions. For example, students asked for professional tutors who specialize in SAT and ACT preparation, updated technology and improvement to school facilities. Other ideas like creating more clubs or wellness programs may involve long-term planning or changes in school practices. Students understand that budgets have limits, but they also shared that these areas are important investments in their learning, well-being, and engagement. Even small changes like adding specialized tutors, improving Wi-Fi, or creating reward systems can make a big difference in student experience. Our goal is to share that when student voices are included, budget decisions can be guided by what students really need to succeed. One student summed it up by saying even small changes at school can make a big difference in how we learn and feel every day. One thing that stood out to us was how much students care about having more support in academic and fun learning opportunities like study halls and enrichment programs. We also noticed differences between schools or grade levels. For example, younger students like us focused a lot on playground improvements and safe outdoor spaces, while older students were thinking more about clubs and college prep. Overall, students were thoughtful and serious about sharing ideas that would improve their schools and make learning more fun and meaningful. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Malia Harazo, and I'm a sixth grader at EWMMS. One thing that stood out to us was how much students care about mental health and wellness, like having meditation rooms, wellness clubs, and opportunities to talk about mindfulness. We also noticed differences between schools or grade levels. For example, middle school students really wanted a safe and fun space outside, like better playgrounds and fields, while high school students are more focused on career readiness and internships. Overall, students were thoughtful and serious about sharing ideas that would improve their schools, and make them feel more supported and included.
Good evening. My name is Orion Jones. I'm a seventh grader at Edward W. Miles Middle School. One thing that stood out to us was how much students care about technology and resources and having reliable Wi-Fi, Chromebooks, and a balance between paper and digital assignments. We've also noted the difference between schools or grade levels. For example, the middle school students who are focused on a playground. For example, the middle school students were focused on a playground equipment and gym safety, while high school more internship and internships, clubs, and ACT prep. Overall, students were energetic and engaged about sharing ideas that improve their schools that would improve their schools to everybody have tools they need to succeed.
Good evening. My name is Francie Pass. I'm a ninth grader at Amityville Memorial High School. One thing that stood out to us is how much students value their extracurriculars and engagement, including clubs, reward systems, and opportunities for career exploration. We noticed differences between schools or grade levels. Middle school students were focused on playgrounds, fun field trips, wellness programs, while high school students cared more about college prep internships, driver's ed, cultural field trips, and leadership opportunities. Overall, students were grateful for the opportunity to share ideas that would improve their school and help them improve, support, and prepare them for a future. Additionally, we hope this presentation shows that students care deeply about their education in our school community. The feedback we share represents many voices, ideas, experiences, not just our own. Being part of this process has shown us that students can make a real difference when we are listened to and included. We hope that by sharing our perspectives tonight, we have helped the board see what matters most to students and the impact that thoughtful support, resources, and opportunities can have on our learning and our well-being for our future. Most importantly, we want to remember that student voices are powerful, and when students are heard, schools become stronger, communities become stronger, and every student has a chance to reach their full potential. We are proud to be part of this council, and we hope this is just the beginning of more student voices shaping the decisions that affect our education. Thank you.
This concludes the presentation from the Superintendent Student Leadership Council. At this time, may I invite the council to stand, take a bow, and be celebrated by all? Commentary from Madam President.
On behalf of the Board of Education, we'd like to thank each and every one of you for being part of the council, and your input does make a difference. And what's also very important, that you also sought out and you heard the voices of the kids in all the other buildings. So thank you for your hard work, and please continue the hard work. And we appreciate everything you have done, and we look forward to another report from you guys. Thank you for coming out to us tonight.
Some of them do have to depart. They have other obligations and school in the morning. Is it possible to get a picture with the Board of Education with the council? Okay. So if you all would, well, you want them to stay here and you all come stand behind them? Come over here? Okay, well, come over here. At this time, we want to once again thank the council for joining us on this evening and transition with another presentation from Mr. Snyder, our interim business official. You would come forward and give us an extension of what we've already heard. Thank you.
Okay, good evening. Tonight we're going to go over an overview of the expenditure budget and talk about some interesting things that are included in the budget, some of which was related to what the student council has presented to you. As an overview, the expenditure budget is currently estimated at 120.9 million. It's a 1.77 increase over the 25-26 budget. The tax levy, we're saying budget to budget is 1.56. That's because it includes that $436,000 of the reserve money that was already collected on the EPC. The controller's office, because of the way they handle the calculation, they exclude it. So what you will see in the media is 2.23, but no, of that 2.23, 436,000 has already been collected. So it really is a 1.56 increase to the community. Some highlights, some of the major movers in the budget. State aid certainly was a big one at 3%. We were a little disappointed with foundation aid being 1%, given that it's an election year, but we'll have to see what happens in April with that. We're hopeful maybe we'll get some more money there. Pilot payments increased dramatically, and that lowers the tax levy. So that's a reason why 156, I believe, will look relatively low to the rest of Long Island. We'll get that data probably March 4th or 5th when the controller releases the draft tax levy data from all school districts. Health insurance, no surprise there, became a big mover, up just over 8%. Special education moved up 3.5%. And pension expenditures for both TRS and ERS increased 8.3%. So those were the big expense drivers overall in the budget. Some of the things that are included in terms of athletics, we are adding middle school boys volleyball, girls wrestling. We're going to purchase wrestling mats, do some much needed repairs to the weight room, and hire a medical trainer. Other funding in terms of like student furniture includes desks at the high school, casework at the middle school, some mobile furniture and bookshelves at Park. At North, we will continue purchasing student desks, storage bins that come with those desks, and bookshelves. At Northwest, we will be purchasing student tables in the kindergarten rooms and installing some new partitions in the bathroom. For buildings and grounds, I mean, I think this is kind of fun, but most people don't like it, but we're getting 2 new lawnmowers. We are buying a piece of equipment to attach to our tractor that will clean the goose droppings on the field. Yeah, nice. Tractor attachment for seeding and aeration, cement mixers so that we can start doing some concrete repairs on our own and not need outside vendors. And we're also going to purchase a maintenance truck. In terms of curriculum initiatives, I'm going to try to get through this, and Mary Stevens is going to try not to laugh. Social studies, we're implementing, or we're continuing with the implementation of SELA Civic Readiness. For science, we're doing new curricular resources that are aligned with state assessments. For ELA, we are doing iReading intervention programs for K-9 as well as SAVIS, the Haggerty Phonemic Awareness Program for K-3. Math, we're also doing iReading intervention for K-9 and professional learning for our math teachers. In ENL and world language, we're going to continue with the SELA biliteracy credentials and implement a brand new AP Science Literature course. We have money set aside for curriculum mapping that Dr. Talbert and Mrs. Stevens are working on. We have money tucked away for department chairs. We're still kind of talking through the model of what that will look like. We have a summer bridge program that Dr. Talbert and Mrs. Stevens can, give you more details on. And we have a little bit of money tucked in there for additional field trips. The board and the administration, specifically, I can say that, Dr. Landau and I are going to be talking over the February recess about freeing up some money related to retirements that are still included in the budget and then meet with the Studentship Leadership Council and say, okay, this is how much money we have. Now we have to prioritize. And I think like some of the lessons that we'll have in that in terms of, well, here's your pile of money. What are your priorities? And then talking to them about what it means to implement these things is going to be kind of a fun part of the budget. So the Monday or Tuesday when we get back from the recess, we will probably convene another meeting with the Leadership Council and tell them, you know, what pool of money, because it will be somewhat limited, that we are able to deal with. We looked at the revenue budget the last time. There it is again. This is a pretty broad overview of the expenditure budget going code by code. The details of these codes will be sent home to you on Friday. You could see here, you know, the increases in special ed and down in health benefits, that's where the bigger increases are, and even the increases that you see in transportation, while they went down because you had a 32% increase in the budget and only a 28% increase in the actual bid that came in. That excess money is some of the money we're going to apply towards field trips. Debt service is dropping a little bit and will continue to drop a little bit. And I believe we spoke about that at a previous board meeting, that could open up some opportunities for us to do some construction in the future. And we'll talk more about that as the school year progresses. On March 4th, we'll do another expenditure type of budget presentation. On March 7th, we have a line by line deep dive into the budget. March 18th, we do another budget presentation. The budget gets adopted on the 15th. The formal hearing that will have a lot of legal disclosures and additional information is on May 6th. And the budget vote is, of course, on May 19th. Questions?
Thank you, Mr. Snyder. Do any board members have any questions from the presentation?
Madam President, I do have a comment.
Just speak a little bit more to the mic.
I do have a comment, but it's not related to his presentation, so I will hold my comments till the end.
I'm the only one?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you. It's really the first time that the board is seeing this, so I guess it feels like, I don't know, brand new. And it was presented as though like we're doing this, whereas you're not relating the expenditures that you're presenting to the revenues, which you mentioned last week. And then we also had the discussion about, you know, a few of us not wanting to increase the taxes because we had $4 million plus more, at least $4 million that needs to be appropriated. So
once you get done, I have something. Trustee Messman?
I'm just, yeah, I mean, I have a lot of notes. I guess, did you speak last week, Mr. Snyder, about why the pilot revenue was increasing? If you can just speak to that again.
I think we disclosed that the pilot revenue has been increasing over the past 5 years, but because we don't have schedules, we have no way of knowing what they will be going forward.
So you're saying in here that the increase in pilot payments will help keep the tax levy low, but it's really an assumption still.
It does keep the tax levy low because that's what the tax cap requires. And the money that we are using in the tax cap calculation is from last year. It's lagged because we don't have the information, which is a typical way to do the calculation. In other words, the pilot payments we receive this year will go into the tax cap calculation next year.
Okay, but you carried an increase, right? The $2.1 million in pilot revenue?
Yeah, because that's the actual pilot increase from 23, 24 to 24, 25.
23. Okay. The special education is going up again or going up, which is the reverse of what we did last year, by nearly $400,000. Can you speak to that a little bit?
I can speak that we had talked when we had disclosed the 24, 25 surplus, that some of the students that had left the program or had their programs changed, that new students have come in. I have met with the director of special ed and have some of the data, and it will cause the budget to go back up. The 25, 26 budget was already lowered to account for that. So I think 3.5 is sort of an offset to what has already been lowered for 25, 26. And the special education budget is better aligned with what we believe expenditures will be as of today. Is that clear?
So you're attributing it's to a handful of students coming back and an increase in cost of services.
It's inflationary, and then some of the expenses, yes, that it's attributable to students who have come back into the or moved into the program. It's probably a better way to say that.
Oh, moved
into
in.
I'd have to, again, review that data with Mrs. Lopez, but there are a handful of students that are behind those numbers.
Okay, so that's a little bit different, right? Like coming back versus moved in is different.
I'm not aware of the
Okay,
residency status of the students prior to 25, 26.
Okay. There's some information here, capital improvements suggested. Or maybe not.
No.
I thought I had saw something about capital.
When you get done, I do have a couple of things.
Okay, so as far as the curriculum, do you want to just jump in?
No.
Okay, you say.
I'm just saying.
As far as the curriculum page, and I don't, this is maybe if it's directed to Mrs. Stevens, or I'm not sure, I can direct it to you, Mr. Snyder, but where is in here, is there recommendations to change any of our curriculum that we're utilizing today, besides what is newly required?
There is not recommendations for change except for science.
So that-
Dr. Kemmler is chairing a committee that is reviewing science curriculum to look for curriculum that aligns with both the new state standards and the state assessments.
Okay, so I was reviewing district policy, and the district policy calls for like an annual review of the curriculum and assessment of the effectiveness of the curriculum and recommendations to go forward. So are we doing that on an annual basis and just deciding to stay with this curriculum, or are we just, where do we stand with that, evaluating the effectiveness of the curriculum that we're actually using?
So we do ongoing assessment of the curriculum, how it aligns with state standards, any changes in initiatives. And we do work with the Curriculum Advisory Council just to ensure that we're on track.
Okay, but I guess it's supposed to come to the board too, like if you read the district policies. And the Curriculum Advisory Council is being selected now for this year?
Correct.
Can you speak a little bit to the curriculum mapping projects?
Yes, we would like to do curriculum mapping projects in the core curricular areas where the existing maps are outdated. So we think that that's critical that we do curriculum mapping so that we are doing vertical alignment and that we're on the same page in all of our buildings.
So how is that a budget item?
It would be the staffing charge for the staff who are working on the projects.
So it's another sort of stipend position, or this is the curriculum advisory committee, or?
It would be a committee. It would probably be hourly and not stipended.
Department chairpersons, so there's a thought to switch back from the building level leaders to department chair. Is that what this is?
Yes, at this point, we're looking at the high school.
Just at the high school?
Yes,
And continuing with the building level leaders in the
at
other
the other
building.
buildings.
Okay, so the next bullet, summer bridge program.
We have been doing our data meetings as we have been discussing, and it's imperative that we begin to look at our articulation and transitions from kindergarten to first grade, from second to third, from fifth to sixth, and from eighth to ninth. And so we are in discussions now about a summer bridge program that would enable more effective entry into the schools that the students will be enrolled in September. And so we are looking at procedures, we're looking at skill gaps, we're looking at expectations, we're looking at technology, we're looking at wellness. So we're looking at a simulation programs that we can implement so that we can have our students ready to go day one as they transition into the new buildings.
I'm sorry, so what is the budget item?
The budget item is summer bridge, which would entail teaching staff. It may entail curriculum. We are in the planning stages of that now, but primarily that would be staffing and curriculum
Over the summer,
over the summer.
okay. Thank you. Again, it's the first time we're talking about this at all from a board level, so I'm.
Dr. Talbot, I have a question. The department chairpersons, will they be hired under ATA contract or AAA?
We are looking at ATA contract.
ATA. So how many periods a day will they teach outside of their chairperson?
Right. So we are under discussions right now about how that would look like, what those expectations and priorities would be, how best we can support the existing departments, our teachers who are still under 5 years of experience, the new curricula that's coming in, and how they can help lead the curriculum mapping. So great question, but we are in discussions about all of those components.
Thank you.
Just for my clarification, the presentation that you presented to us tonight, Mr. Snyder, I'm looking at it as being sort of overarching. And then as we move forward, March 4th, that will be a more detailed budget presentation for the Board of Education. And then on March 7th, that's when we go through the line by line and we really look at and ask some even more deep dive questions about different items that you have presented here overarching, and things that, as we go line by line, looking at, is this something that we want to cut a little bit more? Is it something that we want to recommend moving to a different direction? So I'm looking at this as these are proposed highlights that potentially would like to take place. There's nothing in here that's currently written in stone. And there's still an opportunity for more of a discussion, more details as we get to that March 4th and that March 7th presentation. That's the question that I have.
Everything here is draft.
Right.
It's just where we have landed as of a week ago when we finalized a draft budget, what the board's expectations are for presentation on the 4th and, excuse me, on the 4th and the 18th is something I'll talk to Dr. Talbot about. Certainly the 17th is a deep dive.
Right, and I know
I'm sorry, the 7th
right.
is a deep dive, and you will have all of that detail on Friday.
Right, and that's what we've done in the past. Recently, we've done the line by line. We did it on a Saturday, and it really allowed an opportunity to look at all the areas in the budget and look at some of the draft information that may have been presented, but then also make decisions as a board to make recommendations about things that either we want to lower that particular line item or maybe increase it, if I recall correctly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And then that will help
Yeah.
us to really determine where we're going to end up more in terms of a tax cap. And there have been options. There's been discussion about a 0%, And after we go through all that, we can also make a more informed decision to see if that's feasible, as well as with the $10.6 million, like what do we have left? Is it something that, how much do we have left? Do we have anything left? Is it still there? And what can we do with with that money? Can we put it into different types of reserves? And that will be part of our discussions as we move forward on the 4th and the 7th, and it will allow us an opportunity for the Board of Education at those times to make some make some decisions, to start to make decisions in terms of the 10.6 and different things. Am I understanding that correctly?
I would say that if you're going to do any adjustments to the tax levy, we would need to have that nailed down before budget adoption.
Right.
Even though the technical deadline is the 3rd week of September. So the line by line discussions on the 7th and the presentation on the 18th. You know, we could perhaps have another budget meeting in the beginning of April. We might need to do that based on the state aid proposal. But we would need to know what the board's decision is with regards to the tax levy by budget adoption.
No, oh, definitely. I was not thinking about waiting that long. I was looking at more like at the 4th and 7th, and from that, the latest, the March 18th presentation. That was just in my mindset.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Thank you.
So I feel like you're responding a little bit to my reaction to the presentation, and
Megan
was-
Messman, I'm just going to say one thing. I'm not responding to what the questions that you ask or anything like that. I'm asking for clarity on my part. So if I was incorrect in asking for clarity, then I would know for tonight, do I need to ask more detailed questions or anything like that? So I needed an understanding. So it was nothing toward any trustee here sitting tonight. So I'm sorry if you took it that
Okay.
way.
Okay,
Go ahead, Leslie.
I will. You can say.
Go ahead, Leslie. Go ahead, trustee
I
Chris.
just wanted to say, in the past, the school board got a wish list from each principal in every school. And we painstakingly had to go through it, remember, and decide what we were going to accept and what they were going to give up. How did you come to this? Did you speak to every principal in the school district and what they wanted?
The new requests that came specifically from the principals were communicated to Dr. Talbot and Mrs. Stevens. I met with the directors.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, go ahead. Sure. Thank you, Madam President. So I had 2 comments, now I have 3. The first one is, President Johnson had asked you that $10.6 million surplus, is it still being saved? Because we shouldn't be using it in our current budget, right? Because our current budget has been approved by the voters for this year already. So my question is, where is the $10.6 million surplus right now?
The $10.6 million surplus, in addition to the $5 million you had before that, rests in our bank accounts. The district, based on the lower line there, going back to 24-25, applied $2 million and then 2.9 of it as a funding source to help protect the budget, which I think is a sign of strength. But of the 16 million you have, 2.9 of it is resting in the budget as protection. The rest of it is in your bank accounts earning interest.
Okay, so we still have it.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
not
perfect. Good. That's the answer.
Yeah,
Because it was
those
the way
account-
things
those
were worded. There was a little bit of a question of if it's still here or not.
I
but
think
it
I've
is-
said before, fund balance and reserves are savings accounts that have nothing to do with our checkbook. It's a separate account. The budget is our checkbook. So we have these savings accounts. And right now we think in our checkbook, maybe we need 2.9 of the savings to bring in to help balance the budget. But as you know, in 24-25, you didn't need that 2 million there either because you had a surplus. If you have a deficit, you'll need the 2.9. But they are conceptually isolated, separate bank accounts that have very little to do with the budget, except to the extent of 2.9 million if you need it.
Perfect. My second point, which you touched upon briefly, was the tax levy. all I'm gonna do right now is just reiterate what I've said at the past meetings, which is that we have a surplus of $10.6 million, a surplus that this district has never, ever seen before. My idea, again, fund our reserves to the maximum amount allowable by law, so that we have those rainy day funds. So if something goes wrong, we don't have to borrow, we have the funds. But then the second thing I would like to see done, and maybe, hear from my fellow colleagues, is to pass a 0% tax levy increase. So the idea with that is that we have $10.6 million, record-breaking money. We can give some relief to the homeowners in Amityville, North Amityville, East Massapequa, and hold the line on their property taxes and give them a chance to come back up. Give them a chance to build their own reserves and move forward. So that's my second point. I'm not sure if any other of my colleagues have an opinion on that, because it sounds like you would like to know sooner than later, if that's the direction we would like to go in.
We would have to set the levy by budget adoption. If you could lower the levy after budget adoption, for sure, you can't raise it. But if you want to go out with an adjusted tax levy and cut into the 2.1 million increase, we very well may have to be making budget adjustments.
Well,
and what I'd also say is that you can't fully fund your reserves and then give money back to the taxpayers at the same time. Maybe partially, but to fully fund the district's reserves.
How much does it cost to fully fund the district's reserves?
I believe I gave that to you in the report. I don't know it off the top of my head, but you're at 15%, which is in the lowest percentile on Long Island. That metric that we put up at the last meeting.
I understand, but the important question is, how much is in our reserves and how much to max it out?
Okay. And you have approximately 15 million in your fund balance and reserves now. To fully fund them based on the analysis I provided to the board, I believe you, and depending on what funding levels you would determine, again, I just made recommendations, is 25 million. And 25 million would put you at approximately 22, 23%, which is the average for Long Island, which is where I think you need to be. But again, it is your decision.
Okay. Again, it's a board decision to do a 0% tax levy increase. I think it's very possible, and I say it's very possible because the last time we did a 0% tax levy increase, we carried over a surplus of, I believe, $4.7 million. We're carrying over a surplus double that. It is very possible. So that's really my second point.
The important message I would again point to the board is that your total fund balance and reserves divided into your budget is 15 to 17%. That is very low.
I think, and I already made my point early on, is that I need more information before I can support any decision to lower the tax cap levy to 0%. That's number one. And number two, I think we also have to keep in mind that the last time that was done at 0%, that was just at the beginning of COVID. So I'm not too sure if that had any impact whatsoever in terms of any additional money that we may have had. And I think the other things also for all of us to understand, even for the community, if we did something like this, what would be the long-term impact on our future tax cap levy. So I think, as I stated before, I'm not ready to say that I support a 0% until I get more information. And that's why I was asking the question about the March 4th, March 7th, and March 18th.
So I am ready to support a 0% tax increase. I a fully understanding of how much money we have right now. In the last meeting, I actually had your October slides with me that we never presented, but you had given to us. And I actually had asked that for a look back on those reserves. So when do you think, so that I could understand how much we're using out of each of those reserves annually, so that we can make an educated decision as far as how much of our reserves go where, because we have to do something with the money that's exceeding our 4% in our unassigned fund balance before the end of the year. So when do you think you'll be able to compile that?
I believe in the slides where I was talking about fiscal position going back 15 years, you have your total fund balance and reserves audited on those slides. If you would like to see the detail by account, we can send that home to you right after the recess. But you have the total numbers based on that presentation I did for fiscal position.
Can you summarize it? Because
Yeah.
now you have you have given us another file that has, I don't know, 10 reserves. Okay. And then I had asked what was the annual amount of money that we were using in each reserve?
Right.
Because you had suggested to fund it by 6 times what's currently in there or something like that. But I wanted to understand better, what do we actually use? How many years worth of reserves do we have, like in the workman's comp reserve, for example, so that we could decide as a board. And I think going to your discussion about what's the next presentation, I think the March 4th presentation should be the board talking about that, talking about where do we want to put our reserves, and talking about what the priorities are with these new budget items. That's what I would suggest to the board.
And I'm curious to know how my fellow colleagues feel.
I think if any board member wants to make a comment, they can, and if not, it's their choice.
All right, and Madam President, I just had one more note, and it's not related to this. It's actually something very positive with student achievement, and I think we just kind of overlooked it with everything that's going on. But this past weekend, we hosted wrestling leagues. I'm not the spokesperson for our wrestling team by any means, but I'm very close to it. I know Franny right here in the front row has been to a lot of the meets with us, so he can probably tell us about it too. But this weekend, we had the distinct opportunity of hosting leagues. And if you don't know what that is, we hosted Suffolk County right here in our house. We hosted teams like West Hampton, Islip came out, Sayville came out, Rocky Point came out, and we hosted them here at home. And we had 3 outstanding wrestlers that won their weight classes with dominance. From the 144 weight class, we had Christian, who took first place. From our 150 weight class, we have Kevin, who took second place. And in the 285 weight class, a sophomore, and by the way, he's a returning county qualifier from last year. As a freshman, as a sophomore, he took first place in another dominating fashion. Yes, Madam President.
So this is amazing information that you're sharing with us. Some of us have heard it already, but I would just say that I'm not too sure how it ties into this budget presentation. And if not, can you provide that information for us again when it
Sure.
comes down to the
Well,
report? So
absolutely. Well, it doesn't tie into his budget presentation, but we were talking about the basketball team, which I think is great, and our students. And I kind of didn't get the opportunity to. It wasn't said, so I did want those students to get that.
Oh, no, definitely.
that
And I'm just
recognition.
asking if you could definitely do that.
Okay,
towards
well, all right, well, here, well,
Thank
anyway,
you. I appreciate
anyway, we're sending 3 students to represent us, Amityville, in the counties, which is taking place in Stony Brook. I'm very optimistic. I think we come back with 3 state champions, and we should do everything we can to support them. Thank you,
Thank
Madam
you.
President. Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments regarding the budget presentation?
Yes, I do.
Mr.
We received this presentation last night, not just today. I have 3 questions. So
Yes, sir.
I know the students had mentioned a few different things. One of them was conditions for outside the schools. The tracker attachment for seating and aeration, is that something that is just going to maintain the current conditions? And I'm thinking particularly at the middle school, or is it possible that this is going to help improve the conditions?
I think it's going to help improve them, but there are some issues with compaction
Okay.
that we're looking at there to see if the aeration is part of the solution or whether there's a more significant capital need. You're talking about, I'm sorry, the middle school specifically?
That's what's sticking in my mind the most, yeah.
The middle school looks compacted in some areas, which is something the architect will have to look at. And other areas like the football field, it looks like aeration could do it. So I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
But it was sort of in response to student council and then Dr. Talbot bringing me there saying, come on,
Yeah.
let's do
So
something.
I know and the middle school doesn't really have any irrigation system, right?
No, there's not.
So that would kind of
So-
defeat the purpose to an extent a little bit.
Yeah, that is part of the problem. There's water there, but to actually dig and put irrigation there is, it's
Yeah.
just something we have to look at. So it's a big number.
Okay.
It's a big number. And again, over the recess period, Dr. Landau and I are doing, a lot of work related to staffing and retirements to come up with additional money that's already in the budget. And we'll have to see what we can come up with. The student council beat us over the head with the softball fields
Yeah.
in a nice way.
Yeah. You don't have any ballpark number what the irrigation would be, do you?
Mr. Galena has it. I wouldn't want to quote it off the top of my
Okay.
head, but it's under 100,000.
Okay. Thank you.
I just have one question.
If I could,
Go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. I just want to ask a follow-up about the presentation for March 4th, if I can, when you're ready.
Sure. So my other two questions. So I saw we have a medical trainer, but we currently have an athletic trainer. Am I right? If so, what's the difference between the two positions?
I'd have to let Mr. Farkas answer that question. It came up in our discussions there. I think there is a difference between a medical and an athletic trainer. But I can get a statement into the transmittal for you about the difference.
And then if this would be in addition to or in replacement of?
I believe it's in addition to. Yeah, we'll do something in the transmittal for you to clarify that.
Okay, thank you. And one other question, I know that students referenced mental health. Is there anything built into the current budget to make any improvements in that?
Everything in terms of psych and social has been rolled over. What additional services we're looking to do is something I would have to defer to Dr. Talbot and Mrs. Stevens.
Okay.
So in our conversations with our school counselors, there were exploratory conversations about agencies and partnering with agencies to get families the assistance that they need and students assistance on site. So we are exploring some of those agencies. Some of them we have met at some of the community events. And so we're looking at that. We've also partnered with Hope for Youth, the board previously approved, and we're looking for those SEL programs that will be in place next year to help with wellness. We've been having conversations about wellness rooms, meditation rooms, and what would the budget require to outfit a room, and do we have the space? So those are some of the conversations that we're entertaining right now.
Thank you.
Just have a quick question about the heating system. Is it the same heating system for our central building as it is for the Park Avenue gym?
I don't know, ma'am. That's a Mr. Galena question.
Okay, can we look into that? Because there was definitely an issue. I attended a St. Martin's basketball game, and they literally had to open the doors in the gym because the heat was just flooding in and it was too hot. And that was the explanation that we were given. So if you could look into that,
So you're looking for clarification on the
Yeah.
heating systems for the Park Avenue Gymnasium, ma'am?
Yes, if it's tied in with our central building.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding the budget presentation?
Yes, the students, I was just thinking about heating too, but the students noted heating and cooling. Is there any heating and cooling in the proposed draft budget improvements?
There's maintenance money to maintain it, but many of these HVAC units are outdated, parts are not available, and it is capital in nature to
Okay.
replace these HVAC units.
Okay, so does it make sense to propose a capital project to the board for consideration, depending on the extent of the capital issues for the heating and?
Great question. We are expecting by the end of the month, the architect's assessment of these systems, and that will certainly go home to the board. It will be by building, by trade, with budgets in priority order. And from there, we could start to put a scope together. HVAC systems are going to be right at the top of the list.
By the end of the month, you said?
We're expecting by the end of February, yeah.
Okay.
That's
Um,
that 5-year capital maintenance plan.
yes, I had it on my notes. Um, what happened at the middle school? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Heating?
Yeah, how did we repair that?
Yeah, a coil in one of the rooms froze and broke and started spewing water and heat and steam. The room doesn't have any automated controls because your building management system is outdated and with no parts. So they manually shut it down, brought in portable heat to keep temperature in the room. In the basement, you have 2 very old boilers that I think there's still parts for, but it's becoming more difficult. One of the water pumps that pushes the heat through the buildings broke, so we're working on one pump and trying to find parts for that pump.
So what did you do to repair the broken pipe?
I'd have to ask Mr. Galena what he did, but I know he brought in contractors to
Okay.
help them.
So this
Um,
information will be part of the,
Yes, ma'am.
our budget. Okay, thank you.
Well, Madam
As
President.
part of the budget? I just meant like, how did they address the
No,
emergency repair?
I'm just
I could
talking
just-
about, hold on a second, I'm just talking about the condition of our heating and ventilation system within our buildings. That when I say it's
Well,
part of the budget, I'm just making a statement that an issue like this that has been addressed, how are we going to prepare? And I think you already alluded to it in terms of capital projects. So you already mentioned that you're going to be giving us information at the end of the month. And that this will be something that will help us to make some decisions in terms of the budget and potential capital projects.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
A report from the
No problem.
architects is expected by the end of the month that will give you by building, by trade, the major issues that need to be addressed with budgets. And that is the document that we can use to put together a capital project. And I believe in one of our meetings, when I did the long-term tax levy projections, we talked about that 1 year where a lot of debt comes off of the books and you have an opportunity there. The question is, can you wait that long? And if you can't wait that long, what does it do in terms of increasing the levy and increasing tax rates? Because it will.
So, okay. So I think it would also be helpful, going back to your question about March 7th, to have Mr. Galena here, because I do think that these are big priorities. And I thought that in this year's budget, there was money for BMS system upgrades. So I would be interested to understand where we stand with that.
The
Yeah,
BMS upgrades are a major
I
expense.
know, but I think it was in there as maintenance. I think he had in there some expectation of being able to do some of that work throughout this
To do
year.
some maintenance and to bring in some contractors to get more open source on that BMS system is what we're trying to do. Because the system that they have there is closed source and can only be serviced by one vendor.
Right.
And that's slightly problematic, as you
Right.
know. So the BMS system, HVAC units and all that stuff is more capital or energy performance contract in nature.
Okay, I still think it would be helpful to have Mr. Galena here to talk about any ongoing work and to understand just the, asset report from H2M and just understand priorities for implementation. I do think this building is one STEAM system, as with the central administration building, going back to Carol's point. And then Mr. Schneider, I thought that, could you please also just, it does not have to be an exact number, but an idea of the operating cost per building?
I'll give that to you in the transmittal tomorrow on Friday.
Thank you very much.
Are there any
Thank
other
you.
questions regarding the budget?
Friday, I mean.
Right. So at this point in time, if there's no more questions,
Can I ask, is it the intent of the board to have me do on the 4th, the reserve presentation that I sent home a while ago? Do you want that on the screen for a general?
I would say yes, if you can have that back. Yes, if you can have that
Yeah.
back, that'll be good. Thank you.
And then also just the information that I requested about how much we
Line
spend
by
at,
line has how it's changed over the years?
yes,
Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
I agree with that. I don't know if anybody else does.
Yes, and actually my question is, when on your budget calendar will you be presenting a balanced budget to the Board of Education? When do you anticipate
This
that?
budget is balanced. 122,916 is your expenditures. The revenue is 122,916.
Right. Anticipating a tax levy increase.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Okay.
you, Mrs. Snyder.
Thank you.
At this point in time, if there is any community input regarding board agenda items only.
Stephanie Andrews, Amityville. Now, I have a few questions. Some of them I'm not sure of the answers, but maybe you could help me out. The first question is, not even a question, it's a statement. The board meeting is posted for 5:30 on the website. That's when the board meeting starts. That's the open session. You just move into executive session somewhere else, which is fine. Could you tell me why this is the fourth time now security has tried to stop me from coming in before 7:30? That is not appropriate. It's not correct. And today specifically, this room was already full with people. The board meeting is open the minute it's published to the public, which is 5:30. You choose to leave this room so the public could stay in this room. That is the rules and the law. You cannot tell the people they have to leave the room. You have security here, you have the sound guy here. Administration was even here. So maybe they need to be retrained, maybe they need to be made aware the difference between public session and private and executive session and when the board meeting actually starts. It starts at 5:30. That, you alert the public
so
that
Ms.
you're gonna stay in executive till 7:30, which is fine.
So, thank you for your comment. Just to kind of move you along, do you have a question about the?
Well, that's a
particular-
statement. Are we gonna retrain security? Because I
We
will
have your
not.
statement and we'll take, thank you.
Okay, fine, then we'll put that out to the public.
Thank you.
The appointment of the tenure track positions, I have some questions about that. And specifically the high school principal, Mr. Cardone. Is this a tenure track? Is 3 years, no? Or is he 4 years? But the probationary appointment says 1, I think.
So, Mr. Sheehan, is it something that I can respond to? Okay, so go ahead, Dr. Talbot.
It's from 26, 7/20, 7/1/26 to
Talbot is gonna-
6/30.
Dr. Talbot has a question.
Principal Cardone has served in the
Can you
capacity.
talk a little louder? Otherwise I got to use this and then I talk too low.
Sure. Principal Cardone has served in the capacity as principal, interim principal at the high school for 2 years. Those 2 years are factored into his tenure status. And so he will go 1 additional year and then will be eligible for tenure.
So his probationary appointment is technically from the 2 years ago. Shouldn't that be adjusted on the agenda item? Because would be called Jarima credit. It goes back to the appointment, the interim appointment. At the end is going to be the same, I believe, but shouldn't the appointment reflect when he was actually appointed? Because I believe that's how the probationary appointment should read.
We can see clarification, but he is being appointed in a probationary
Right, so he was
position
previously-
effective July 1.
Previously an interim.
Yes.
Right, so it doesn't go.
Can
back.
you talk a little louder, Mr. Sheehan?
Sure, it doesn't go back to the start. The start was an interim. He was given credit for that service, but it doesn't go retroactive back to the first interim date.
So you can call it 1 year because you're giving him the 2-year credit. Is that correct?
So
Is
he
that
was-
my understanding of
so
what you just said?
He was appointed as an interim.
Right, and then he goes right into the probationary,
but
so
he-
it
but-
attaches.
But the service, because it's right.
It's not uninterrupted,
it-
right.
It's uninterrupted, yes.
Right.
That's it.
Okay, just want to make sure that it doesn't have to change on the agenda item. Because I was wondering about the permanent subs. Does that have a tenure track associated with a permanent sub appointment? Not what's on the agenda. There's a permanent sub appointment. Permanent means ongoing, right? Doesn't mean for the end of the year. This happens to be a mid-year, was not beginning of the fiscal year, but permanent subtitle.
It's not a tenure track.
It's not a tenure track?
It's not. No.
Because why? Because it's called sub or because?
Because a permanent sub doesn't work the entire year. It's permanent in that the individual is on staff and substituting as they go, but it's not for the entire year. It's not.
So if they appoint
not
somebody, forget this particular person, if they appointed this person September 1st, let's say, as a permanent sub for the entire school year, it would have a tenure track attached to it. Is that
No.
what you're saying?
No, the nature of the position is not continuous.
But permanent sub means that they work every day, right?
No.
Well, it can though in this district.
No, they've got a limited amount of time they have within the year.
But
that
do
they
we know
serve.
that based on this agenda item, or we're just assuming that? Because my understanding in the past, I'm not saying it continues to be that way. In the past, the permanent sub came in every day, was paid for every day, and might have done some extra help if they didn't need anybody, nobody was out sick that day. So is it dependent upon how the district is implementing it, not just the title?
It is the nature of the title. I haven't looked at the specific implementation, but that's the nature of the title.
The
permit.
title, but if they were letting them come in every day?
Well, if it's it's every day in the same position
Yeah.
every day, then that's an issue that has to be reviewed by HR.
Okay, because I believe that has been the practice in the past. I don't know if that's the practice now, but, so that was the only thing. Now, the last.
Thank you, Ms. Andrews. It's just, the buzzer went off. Is there a quick
I'm sorry,
question?
what?
The buzzer just went off. Do you have one more quick question for us? So I can move on.
I'll come back.
No, but if you're there, do you have just one more quick question so we can keep moving?
No, that's right, because it's not the quick question. It's a budget money question, like a little bit longer than quick.
Okay.
So I'll let somebody else talk. That's okay.
Okay.
I'm not leaving.
I know. Thank you. Any other questions regarding agenda items?
Hello, Wendy Canestro. Will the student presentation, can you put that online?
Sure.
Okay, my time's still going as you answer, so I need a couple of seconds. I thought the students did an amazing job. I was really encouraged by that. I was happy to see that they felt empowered to advocate for themselves. At the same time, I was sad because most districts have a lot of the things that they're looking for. So what I would say to the board is up to you to turn those words into action. I have not seen the board deliberate on what you want to see in a budget or not. And as long as I've been coming here, I could see that the board really just is directed by everybody of what you should be doing. And I heard a trustee say, but you haven't discussed it. That's correct. You have, I think you're going to the top of the max tax cap, which is 2.23, which is outrageous, being that you taxed us when you had a surplus, outrageous. I only see 2 trustees advocating for 0%. Your next question should be, why don't you also give us an option for a 0% increase? Why don't you show us what that looks like? That would make sense. I did not see special education anywhere in this presentation with expenditures when last year you only passed the budget with a 4-3 vote. 3 trustees, including myself, did not support the budget. It was flawed, and a lot of it had to do with special education. There was, by a lot of money, I would like to know the answer of how you're addressing special education. A lot of services were taken away. There was a lot of problems with due process, and that's one of my questions. Also, with the surplus, there was a lot of word salad there. You're sitting on a lot of money. It's up to you to decide what to do with that money. It's not up to Mr. Snyder what to do with that money. It's up to you. The budget is presented to the Board of Education and the superintendent approves it to be supported. So it's not Ms. Fitzwatsi's budget. It's not Mr. Snyder's budget. At the end of the day, it's Dr. Talbert's budget. I see the equipment. That's a mighty big wish list. That's up to you to scale that back. That's a lot of money. Put your money into the budget should support students in their education, in enrichment, and maintaining your facilities. There's a lot of wish lists. It would be great to do everything. You're not going to be able to, but you're sitting on money. The money should go back to the taxpayers. It is more than disappointing that the majority of board members will not speak their mind of what they're looking for. Voters have a right to know where you stand on issues, and your silence really speaks volumes. The last thing is this recovs. I see 59 appointments. It is a COVID grant for learning gaps and for mental health support. But looking on the New York State Education, I'm sorry, can I just go over?
Just
Because you guys
finish the question. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Looking on the New York State Education website, it says that it ends on October 31st, 2025. How are we making appointments if this ended on October 31st, 2025? And it's a dollar-to-dollar match. So is the current budget, is it currently supporting the dollar-to-dollar match? How much did these appointments come out to? How would you vote on that without knowing the total cost? And how much of that cost is in the budget?
Dr. Talbot, and then go ahead.
So we were given an extension through June 30th, and that's why we're able to continue with our programming. We do submit budget where things like transportation and security are part of the dollar-to-dollar match.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I just have to ask this because we have to match dollar for dollar. So you don't specifically have it in the budget for this. You're pulling it out of transportation and security. Is that what you're saying from those line items?
No, we budget accordingly.
So you have it budgeted specifically for this grant.
We have
And what is the total cost?
$250,000.
Okay, I think that's it for now.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you to the two trustees who continue to push for 0%.
Are there any other community inputs on agenda items?
Margaret Chuff, Amityville. Quick question. The whole maintenance thing that was part of Mr. Snyder's presentation just kind of concerned me because I just wanted to know what the protocol is there an annual measure of what's going on in all the buildings to say what's failing, what's old? We have 3 more years left in this entity and it's going to fail and it's going to cost us money. And it's called, like, what's your proactive stance on learning what's going to happen down the road? Because let's face it, this district is very old. And I understand that stuff will happen. And they're saying that there's only one company that can supply things and so on and so forth. So in order for us, we finally have a little money in the bank, like those type of things that will cost really tons of money down the road, because this is such an old district. What is the protocol that you do annually to decide or know what's the status of your home? The air conditioning is going to go, the heating's going to go, all of those entities that cost tons of money to fix. You just like wait till it breaks and then decide to fix it? Or are you well aware of what's putting your house in order? What's the protocol?
Dr. Talbot, if you want to.
In the building conditions survey, which is done every 5 years, and the architects are a part of that, it's identified the status of various equipment, conditions, heating, air throughout the district. And you have to have dollars to match the priorities to repair. We are quite aware of the status of many entities throughout the district. The district has not had the finances in the past.
We do now.
To apply. We do not.
Okay.
Not to address everything. You do not.
I'm not saying everything. I'm just saying getting the priority
Even the
list.
priorities, you do not. We do not have sufficient money to address the dire needs that our district has in terms of facilities.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, just a statement that one of the trustees here had asked for the operating cost by building. I don't know if that was this evening, and I can be thoroughly sure that that's probably the fourth time that someone has asked for that information. And 4 times, it's like, yeah, you'll get it Friday, or you'll get it at the end of the month, or whatever. So I don't know how many times you have to ask, what, every which way to Sunday to get the information that they need to maintain the job that they need to do. Thank you.
Thank you. One thing that I want to do, we have an individual here that I want to say to the board, as soon as we close out, comments from the community on agenda items, that I want to move a agenda item right up. And so it's going to be agenda item 4A. I want to move that up prior to the approval of board minutes. All right. So once we get finished with community input. Thank you.
Hi, I'm just coming up because I ran out of time. I had asked if the student presentation can go online. I don't remember if you answered me. It was excellent.
It was yes. It was yes.
Great. The other thing is, a facility director during budget meetings is essential. I don't know any district that doesn't have their facility director at a meeting. You have all these things going on and all these questions. It should be a given. In fact, most districts have them at every board meeting. I'm not sure why Amityville doesn't. I know in the past we had asked for that when I was on the board. It's clear that questions from multiple people, I think 3 of you asked these questions, and you didn't get answers. You're a board of education who is responsible for approving the budget, and you can't get answers at a budget meeting. It's problematic, guys. It's you run this. They don't run this. You run this.
Thank you. At this point in time, community input is closed, and I'm going to move forward with our agenda. All right, I'm going to make a motion to amend the agenda to move agenda item 4A to, I'm going to, but I closed out community input. Let me just do this one item and we'll go from there because I need to, okay. I want to make a motion to amend the agenda to move agenda item 4A to 1C3. So can I make a motion to move agenda item to 1C3? I want to move agenda item 4A to 1C3.
Motion.
Chris Neeren is first. Leslie Kretz is second. Any questions or comments on why I'm moving this agenda item?
No.
Can I have a motion for agenda item 1C3, which is 4A?
Motion.
Second.
Chris Neeren is first. Carol Seehoff is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Congratulations.
Congratulations to Ms. Melanie McKenna, English teacher at the high school. Your family is here. Would they please stand with you?
Here they come. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. On the re-COVID money. Could you tell me in year number 1, how much money the district received in the grant?
Do you know the number? Yeah. They don't know if.
Not down to the dollar, you know, I don't expect that.
Then, go ahead. We'll get the information to you, so just make a note. So the question is, in the first year of the grant, Emery, you have the question? In
Yeah,
the first year
in
of the grant,
First year of the re-COVID grant, how much money did the district receive? And then I want to know how much the district received in the second year. Now, since this is something that impacts the budget, I find it shocking that the business official doesn't know it, especially when you have almost 60 appointments addressing the re-COVID money. And could Ms. Stevens, Mrs. Stevens, I'm not sure of you, sorry if I'm saying it wrong, tell me exactly when was the extension given, from when to when, till June 30th of this year? And what was the extension given to you? And who was it giving it you, the extension? That's what you said. Maybe I misheard you.
No, there was an extension given
Extension for what?
for the grant.
What about the grant?
for the use of the funding.
Use of the grant funds till, you can use it till 6/30/26.
Correct.
And that's this entire year, number 2?
No,
Grant
I
funds?
believe this is year 4.
I'm sorry, what?
This is year 4.
The COVID grant only lasted 2 years. So what exact funds, I'm trying to figure out exactly which funds you're talking about. They ended October 31st, 2025, and you couldn't bill anything past that for the grant money.
No, there was an extension on the grant.
And
We
could you tell me
continued-
where on the website of the government that I'm going to find that?
I can look for you. I don't.
You have a letter from the state telling you that?
We do.
So that's a foilable document then. So I'm going to foil that document. So what exactly do you want me to call the foil so I make it easy for you to get it for me? It's from the New York State Education Department. Who's it to? Was it to you? To the business official? Just call it the grant extension? I need to know to help you focus on what you're going to provide me.
I can't answer that question, so.
Well, Ms. Stevens is alluding to it. She's not even alluding, she's stating it exists. So tell me what I have to put on the FOIL document so it's clear to you what I want.
So if you provide a reasonable description, we'll.
Very simple. I want to know the extension that she's
I'll
claiming.
go back to the video and see your request.
Well,
If you
I'm going to
if
put
you
down
If
there.
you reference the COVID.
Right, the
grant-
COVID extensions,
COVID grant-
all extensions that have ever been given for that COVID, and the time frame and the exact money.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll do. Thank you.
Thank you. At this point in time, I'm closing community input on agenda items. I'm going to move on to agenda item 2A, 1 and 2. Can I do them all together, or do I need to do them separately?
Together.
Right. Can I have a motion for agenda item 2A, 1 and 2?
Moved.
Carol Seehoff is first, Leslie Kretz is second. Any discussion on these agenda items? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Can I have a motion for agenda item 2C1, please?
Moved.
Carol Seehoff is first, Leslie Kretz is second. Any discussion on this agenda item? Hearing none, all those in favor? Is anyone opposed to this?
I'm sorry, no, I'm aye. This is
I'm-
2C1.
2C1.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries 5-0.
Did Chris leave the meeting? Like, is he?
No.
He's just missing nothing.
Okay.
All right, so there's a couple amendments that we have to do. The first one, can I have a motion to amend the agenda to add agenda item 2C2, which is a resolution to approve the intermunicipal sublease agreement with the Village of Amityville.
Moved.
Second.
Carol Seehoff is first. Juan Leon is second. So all those in favor of amending the agenda to add this item?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. So the discussion on this is that it just says resolve that the Board of Education approves an intermunicipal sublease agreement between the Amityville Union Free School District and the Village of Amityville regarding the village sublease of the Board of Education voting machines and authorizes the board president to execute same. Can I have a motion for agenda item 2C2, please?
Motion to approve.
Juan Leon is first.
Second.
Carol Seehoff is second. All those in favor of agenda item 2C2?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 5-0. Can I have a motion to amend the agenda to add agenda item 2C3? Resolve that the Board of Education hereby implements work rules requiring the board president and the first vice president to jointly sign off on the district clerk timesheets.
Motion.
Megan Messman is first.
Second.
Juan Leon is second. All those in favor of amending the agenda to add this item?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? I'm opposed to adding the item.
I am. I'm opposed.
So we're
So,
not.
so the, right now the motion fails.
Chris is back.
Oh, Chris is back. Chris, did you hear that?
Sorry, no, I did not.
Legal, am I allowed to redo this again? No, okay. So, Megan Messman and Juan Leon were yes. And Brett Johnson and Seehoff were no. So the motion fails 2-3.
Excuse me, Madam President, where would be the proper time to have a discussion about this?
We can do this discussion right now. Well, we can't because it failed to add the item to the agenda. The motion was,
It's discussed on the motion when the motion is open.
okay.
You can move to reconsider it. If you move to reconsider it, then you'd be able to have a discussion on it.
Okay, thank you. I move to reconsider this motion.
Second.
We'll move to reconsider the motion. So Juan Leon was first. Megan Messman was second. All those in favor of moving to reconsider this motion? Do we have to vote on
Aye.
it, right? Or do we have to?
Do you want to read out the motion so
It all just says.
Nearing knows what?
All right, so the resolution was resolved that the Board of Education hereby implements work rules requiring the board president and the first vice president to jointly sign off on the district clerk timesheets. So now there was a motion to move to reconsider that motion about amending the agenda to add that item. I got that correct. So do we, now we can do a
Yeah,
discussion?
you can have a discussion on the question.
Go ahead, discussion on the question.
Okay, it's a very, very quick discussion, but I find this to be a common sense approach, which we do already in a lot of our finances, to have a second set of eyes to sign off on things. That's all it is. It's common sense. And especially with our finances, I think it makes sense to do it.
I agree. I brought the motion. I had it drafted. It was ready. It actually should have been on the agenda, so we wouldn't have to do this deciding whether or not it's on the agenda thing. We have the need for oversight of the timesheets, and it is standard practice to have two signatures, two approvals on timesheets. And I think that's actually from the auditor. They recommended that throughout all of our controls in the finance department to have two signatures. So that's all we're doing. We're carrying it forward to be applicable to this position.
And so I will say that, excuse me, that it's something that I don't support. There are things that have been addressed and that we will continue to address. And there was no mismanagement, there was no fraud or anything that was taking place. So I don't see a need to have a first and second, have a board president and the first vice president sign off on it.
And Madam President, just to be clear, no one here is suspecting mismanagement or fraud or anything like that. And we have to be very careful about what we say. It also has nothing to do with anyone's job performance or anything like that. It has to do with housekeeping and certain things not being done appropriately. And yes, we have a discussion, but a discussion doesn't mean the discussion was we'll do better next time. It makes common sense and it's a common practice, especially when it comes to basic finances, to have a second set of eyes on it.
Thank you. Any other comments on this item?
I just want to comment that it's not common practice, and I believe that the business office is the second set of eyes in this situation.
So
Okay,
I
so please no
disagree with
comments from the
that.
community.
Well,
Thank
no,
you.
I'm allowed to.
No, I just said no comments from the community.
Okay, because I mean, I have timesheet rules banged over my head year after year after year in my industry, and there is more than one signature on every timesheet. And if there was a second set of eyes on this, then if there was a potential concern, or then it should have been flagged, and it wasn't. So this is all this resolution is doing. It's a level of control.
So, and I will say, in my job, there's no second signature on timesheets. So it varies from each institution.
Okay, but I'm sorry, Madam President, but I'm talking about common financial practice.
And I'm talking about common financial practice for my job. There's no second signature, right? So, any other discussion on this item? So all those in favor to reconsider that motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Chris Neering, Juan Leon, and Megan Messman are yes. And I'm a no. I haven't heard from Leslie or Carol. Carol, are you yes or no? So I know. So the motion fails 3-3.
It fails because we have an even number of board members.
Yes,
and
exactly.
We have
The
a
motion fails
divided
3-3. So I'm moving on. Can I have a motion to amend the agenda to add agenda item 2C4? And that resolution resolved that the Board of Education hereby amends the district clerk agreement to add flexible scheduling and authorize the board president to execute the addendum to the district clerk agreement. And there were revisions that were made to that addendum, and the Board of Education, if you don't recall, it just says shall be entitled to straight time for hours worked beyond 25 hours per week instead of compensatory.
Motion to approve.
Juan Leon is first.
Second.
Chris Neering is second. Any discussion on this item? Of amending
This
the
was
agenda
just
to add?
amending the agenda,
Yeah.
right?
Seeing no discussion on this item, all those in favor for amending the agenda to add the agenda item 2C4?
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carries 6-0. Can I have a motion for agenda item 2C4?
Motion.
Chris
Second.
Neering is first, Megan Messon is second. Any discussion on this agenda item?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carol, did you say anything?
Yes, I said aye.
All right, motion carries 6-0. All right. Can I have a motion to amend the agenda to add agenda item 2C5? And this is the resolution that states the Board of Education hereby directs the superintendent of schools to develop the necessary change orders reflecting revised contractors' scope or scopes of work for the district's capital project to renovate the first floor bathrooms at Edwin W. Miles Middle School, and to prepare the appropriate change order certification as required by the New York State Education Department consistent with the Commissioner's regulation. So this is amend the agenda to add this agenda item. This resolution.
Motion.
Megan Messman is first.
Second.
Chris Naren is second. Any discussion on this agenda item? I believe that, and I just need clarification. Has this already been started with or being looked at to do the first floor bathroom? That's I'm just at the middle school. Just provide clarification, Dr. Talbot, on this one, please.
Yes, and I can ask Mr. Snyder to elaborate. But this practice with change orders is how we have been moving forward for a number of years. Can you add any light to that?
I don't understand the question.
So the resolution, my question is this, is that it's asking to have the superintendent to develop necessary change orders for the revised contractor scope of work for the district's capital project for the middle school bathroom. My question is, has the process already been started already with the middle school, or is it being looked at, or that's my?
Change orders are developed by the architects. And I spoke to the architects based on the
Just
last.
speak a little bit more to Mike.
Sorry. Change orders based on the architect forms that are templated by SCD are created by the architect, because the change order requires drafts, budgets, and drawings. The superintendent can't do that. The superintendent signs off on them.
And
To answer the question, and based on the last meeting, I told the architects that we were going to likely move forward with it to tighten up their budgets, and that I believe I put in the transmittal that we would need to move money around and do some change orders to put more money into plumbing and away from electrical, and that, a change order, has to happen so that the contractor can get paid, but the architect is the only one who can do that.
So that's what the resolution is intended for. It's intended to allow that movement of money because that was not part of the base scope. So we're asking the board for you, the superintendent, for the architect to put together the paperwork that would be required for board consideration to be able to move forward and authorize the work for the first floor bathrooms. That's what we're asking for.
So normally it wouldn't require a resolution, because once the board gives the directive that that's the direction they want to go, we take the
So
necessary.
is the heartburn over this because it's a resolution, or is there the question about whether or not we want to do it?
They're moving forward on it.
We were not moving forward on it. We had not talked about it as a board. I've been asking, we knew all along that it wasn't in the base scope. We flagged it. I flagged it early on. We wanted to wait the year into the construction to evaluate how much of funding was left over. There is available funding. So now I asked, what's the cost for the first floor bathroom? And I asked legal counsel to put together a resolution so that it was formalized, that there was direction and there was an action item to work with the architects, work with the contractors to formalize the change order work. That's what this resolution is. So I'm not understanding what are we questioning here? What's questioned?
So my question is there a need for a resolution if you had your say, I'm going to have my say, is there a need for a resolution if we have already, you brought up about the change order, you brought about renovating the first floor, you already stated that we were looking at our finances to see whether or not it can or cannot be done. We now recognize that it could be done. The architects are now looking at it, the architect is currently looking at it and what the scope would be and the cost.
What the resolution was directing the superintendent to do it.
Right.
Right, so this,
Because
so
it
the,
goes down, right? I mean, go ahead, John.
so the board directs the superintendent, and the superintendent, who is the individual who ultimately signs off on it, would be required to direct the architect and the business office to follow the direction of the board. So in the chain of command, the board only directs the superintendent. the superintendent would then direct the architect and business office to carry out the board's wishes. So that's, I don't know, that's maybe causing the confusion, but ultimately, the superintendent of schools signs off on the change order.
Signs off on the change, doesn't create the change order.
Well, it's signed, the superintendent signs off on the change order prepared by the architect.
Yes, sir.
Pursuant to this resolution, the superintendent would direct the board architect, the architect to prepare the plans, create the change order and provide the budget. The business office would be required to move the money around within the contract, scope of the contract, so that this change order could be effectuated.
I don't understand what the confusion is. So we asked for the information in the Friday transmittal. We got the information and I asked for board action on the agenda so that we can just vote on it as a board. So we weren't making a decision by email. We were just voting on it as a board. So that's what this resolution is.
So,
And this is just funneling the directive to the architect through the superintendent.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's just
Yeah.
whether or not does the
Right.
board agree or not. That's all this is.
right, and that we're just having a discussion on it. That's all. No one's
But it's not a
quest-
surprise because I
No,
asked for it and it
but it's-
didn't
it's
get
no-
on the
it's no-
agenda.
But
And
Megan, it's no different than any other conversation that
Okay.
we've had with other items here for the resolution. So we're just having a discussion on it. No one's criticizing the resolution. We're just having a discussion on it so people can make a
Well,
decision
you're-
what they want to do.
But I hear why do we need a resolution? That's what I hear. And it's just, I'm saying why. I'm saying why because it wasn't in the contract scope.
Right.
And the board is asking to consider what the value of the change order really is, because all you gave us was an estimate, right? So we would need the steps that it takes to get a real change order cost so that we can actually consider it. And now is the time to do it because it's February. It takes a while to do the paperwork, authorize it, get the materials, and be ready to do the work in the summer.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. We're just having a discussion on the item. That's it.
Can I just ask how much of the process is being done now for the first floor bathrooms?
What I heard at the last board meeting is that we were proceeding with the work in the summer and the architect was contacted by myself and Mr. Galena and told to mobilize and start getting the contractors ready to get Seaford Plumbing's change order that we approved just before that. It's going to have to go back on an agenda and be reversed.
That's why I asked, why were we doing that? Why were we closing that
And I
contract?
answered that
yeah.
because they didn't want to carry the insurance and the bonding. For
Yeah, so it wasn't moving because this board made a decision to close that contract with Seaford, even though we knew we wanted to do the first floor bathroom. So
Because
that's
people
why.
wanted their money back. That we had.
I understand how it works, Lisa.
I know, but
Okay,
you're
so-
questioning why do we give the money back to Seaford Plumbing, and because they wanted the money back. Mr. Snyder already explained that that's not commonly how it happens, but this company wanted their money back, so we had no choice but to give the money back.
Okay, but I don't agree that we actually agreed to move forward with that. We never had that discussion, so.
That's a different question. So does the board want to do the bathrooms on the first floor
That's what we
or
already.
not? Maybe that's the better resolution.
All right. Any more discussion on this particular item? To amend the agenda, just to add this agenda item to C5, which is the resolution that I read, and everyone has it. Any other discussion on this item? All those in favor of amending the agenda to add agenda item to C5?
Aye.
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 It carries 6-0. Motion for agenda item to C5.
Aye.
No, motion.
Motion.
Second.
Chris Neeren, Megan Messman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0.
You would think it was contentious.
I know, it was just questions that we were asking, that was it, right? Can I have a motion to amend the agenda to add agenda item 2C6, which is a resolution to rescind the February 4th 2026 Board of Education action regarding the Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Operation position. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby rescinds its action taken at the February 4th, 2026 Board of Education meeting to reopen the Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Operation position for a wider search. Be it further resolved that the Board of Education directs the superintendent to continue with the hiring process that was already in progress prior to that action. So this is just amend the agenda to add this item to C6.
Motion.
Chris Neering is first.
Second.
Carol Seehofer second. Any discussion on this item?
Yes, Madam President. So I introduced the motion to reopen that position because the school district had it only open for less than 2 weeks. That's an assistant superintendent of finance. We've had finance issues. I believe that all of our jobs is to find the absolute best there is that can help our district move forward. 3 points. I just went on to OLAS right now. Those that aren't familiar, that's where individuals can find jobs in school districts. Right now, Assistant Superintendent for Business and Finance, I'm not going to name the district. They posted on February 5th. They have it going open for over a month until March 8th. We don't even post ours for 2 weeks. So that's very concerning. Number two, and it goes to conversations that we should be having. Again, I'm gonna hit it over the head with a hammer. We have a $10.6 million surplus, record-breaking surplus. We've never had that here before. The board should be afforded the right to look at this position and see if we want to possibly increase the salary to widen the net and maybe attract other candidates if that's what we want to. If that's what we want to do, we should be afforded that right, which I think would be very prudent. And then number three, I'm curious how this motion is coming here because it was passed 4-2. Myself, Trustee Messman, Trustee Kretz, and Trustee Seehoff were in favor of opening it back up so we can have a full 30 days, which in my opinion is probably the minimum we need to find talent. Why are we bringing it here again? I'm opposed to having it, closed again and going back to whatever we have. I'm in favor of keeping what we currently have, which is to reopen it and try to find talent. Leave it open for at least 30 days or so.
Any other discussion on this item?
Well, I mean, I agree with everything you just said, Juan. We had, as a board, had specifically asked for positions to be posted for a minimum of a month. So that was the first flag there. We also were contacted by somebody on the hiring committee, the entire board was, with just, I don't want any, like, one day on. I don't want anything to do with this hiring committee. Please don't associate with me with this hiring committee. So it was another big red flag. So I was interested in just reopening the position for a longer duration and, like Juan stated, like reconsidering the salary.
If just as a friendly thing here, if any of my colleagues are changing their vote, can you just share why so I know?
Yes, I want to ask Mr. Lando a question also. I was under the assumption, now this was 10:30, quarter to 11 at night, when other board members are bringing up resolution after resolution. We've never seen these resolutions, nothing, one after another all the time at 10:30, 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock. I was assuming, and this is my mistake, that I was voting to put the resolution on for this week's meeting. Okay? What I wanted to ask Mr. Lando, if it's okay, what is the status now of the applicants that have previously applied and you have put them through interviews?
The status of the applicants is that they have been told that sorry, The status of the applicants is that they have been told that the process was put on hold based on the resolution that was passed last week by the board. They were not told that that the process was over, only that the process was being discussed this week. To the best of my memory, is that correct, Dr. Talbert, in what we've told them? So we paused the process because the process needed to continue tonight. And once the process is completed tonight, I'll know the direction that we need to go, and we'll follow the direction of the superintendent and the board.
Any other?
A
Go ahead.
clarification, the candidates received letters letting them know that the board was reopening the position and they were invited to reapply.
Perfect. So there's a chance that we can actually get more qualified applicants by keeping the door open for them. A discussion that I said that we probably should have had, but didn't have the opportunity, was if we wanted to adjust salary to try to attract a whole nother group. That's a discussion I think we should still have, if anyone would like to.
There's also the chance that we had quality candidates that have now been turned off by the board action and are asking them to reapply for a position that they already applied for.
Right, and I also think that we had a process in place. The board received information about the salary range for the position, right? And received information about the posting. And so that was why last week I was opposed to reopening up the search again. So I felt like we had a process in place, and that if in doing this search, if we're not successful, then we can just start all over again. But we already had a process in place, and let's continue with the process. So that's why I did what I did last week.
It doesn't make this a very appealing place to work as a candidate if this is the type of actions that are happening.
Exactly.
And I couldn't agree with you more. And that's why administration needs to listen to the board. And the board has said time and time again, 30 days.
Please, no comment.
30
actions from the
days,
community. Thank you.
not 2 weeks, not less than 2 weeks, 30 days.
Yeah, and I think that to that point, Juan, I completely agree. And that's why it feels like you need a resolution to to just document things, because we have said that and it was posted for less than 2 weeks.
Any other discussion on amending the agenda to add this agenda item to the agenda?
I just want to comment on Megan's comment, sitting here reflecting on it. I don't think that was something that should have been said, because that email was just afforded to the Board of Education, not to the public. And the other comment is the person that stepped down from the interview committee stated it in a very generalized way. At no time, if you are going to bring up that email, was any specific reason given.
I agree. There was no specific reason, but it was still reaching out to the board with a concern.
But no specific concern, just a
Right.
generalized that the person felt that the committee was not operating the way she felt it should, but at no
Okay.
time was a specific reason given.
Okay, but the board never discussed it.
You could have brought it up.
All right, so can we go back to the resolution that's on the table about amending the agenda to add this agenda item? So any other discussion on this particular agenda item? Go ahead.
Just a clarification that there was no violation in the posting. There were particular board members who may have had a preferred recommendation of a 30-day posting. It was not across the board. It was not a directive given. I just want to be sure to clarify there was no violation in the posting.
Okay. All those in favor, and once in, it's, because it's been a discussion, there's a motion to amend the agenda to add agenda item 2C6. We've had a first and second. So all those in favor of amending the agenda to add agenda item 2C6?
Aye.
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 So it's Lisa, Chris, Carol, and Leslie, all opposed.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Juan, and Megan. So the motion carries to add to agenda. So now the next motion, now excuse me, no comments from the community out in public. Motion for agenda item 2C6.
Motion.
Chris Neering is first. Can I have a motion for agenda item 2C6? I need a second, someone.
Second.
Carol, so you have a second. Is there any additional discussion on this? All those in favor for agenda item 2C6?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed.
Opposed?
So it's Leslie, Carol, Chris, and Lisa. Is a yes. And the no is Megan and Juan. So the motion carries 4-2.
So what happens now is they go through the interview process, and the small amount that we have, that's the pool we pick from.
All right, I'm moving on. I'm going to, I'll give them to, yeah, they were in email, so I'll give them. All right, so Mr. Leon, if you can provide those two.
Yes,
Amazing.
I apologize for that, and I have them tonight.
Can I have a motion for agenda item 3A1, please?
Motion.
Chris Neeren is first.
Second.
Carol, so you have a second. Discussion occurred in executive session on this item. All those in favor for agenda item 3A1?
Aye.
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 Carol, I'm sorry, Carol, did you say aye?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so I said aye, so motion carries 6-0. Can I do agenda items 1A to 1, can I do agenda items 3B, 1A through 1F altogether? So 3B, 1A through 1F altogether.
Yes.
Yes.
Can I have a motion for agenda item 3B, 1A through 1F?
Motion.
Second.
Chris Neering is first, Carol Seehoff is second. Any discussion on these items? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Congratulations, Dr. Cardone. Congratulations, Dr. Cardone. Can I have a motion for agenda item 3B2A?
Motion to approve.
Juan
Second.
Leon is first, Chris Neeren is second. Any discussion on this item? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Can I do agenda item 3B, 3A, all the way down to 3KK? Oh, no, I can't. Can I, no. Can I have a motion for agenda items 3B, 3A, all the way down to 3B, 3II?
Motion to approve.
Second.
So Juan Leon is first. Chris Neeren is second. So once again, that is 3B dash 3A down to 3II. Any discussion on these items?
Yes. I told you I had some questions, but community members have questions too, which is adding to my questions. So, we've received a special extension, or is it a statewide extension? Is it specific to Amityville, or is it everybody?
I don't believe it's specific to Amityville. Anyone who was awarded the grant was given the extra year. I would have to double check that, but I don't think it was just us.
Okay, and then in reviewing, just kind of looking at this grant on what's available online, we do a match, which was what one of the community members was questioning. So is this portion of the services being paid. Oh, no, you're saying that where we match the cost for the services with what? With our security?
So the matching funds can come from general fund or other grants. So different components come from different places. I work with the business office on figuring out what we're using that can be matching funds. So for example, in the summer, we paid summer school for the high school, but we funded the recovs for the elementary and middle schools.
Okay.
So
So what's
we
the
look-
plan for this portion? What are we
So we're
balancing?
Currently looking at security, some of the leaders of tomorrow funding, security, transportation, part of the site supervision will come from that.
Out of district money, you're saying?
No, the grants count for the matching funds. It doesn't matter the source. So the leaders of tomorrow expenditures we have count toward that matching funds.
And then, I don't necessarily follow that, but how do you ensure that there's no overlap in the appointees with the various obligations, like extra help or LOT or intramurals, any miscellaneous assignment that anyone has received?
So with our timesheet folder, we have sheets of board agenda appointments. We have extra help schedules. We have professional development schedules, all of the things that could conflict. And then we cross-reference those when we're approving timesheets.
So it's a set schedule for each of these weekday appointments, yes?
Yes.
So it would be, so I had inquired that if could the board see that sort of master schedule of after-school activities? Is there any reason why we couldn't?
I think that's kind of
think
overstepping.
That's definitely micromanaging.
That's
We don't.
definitely micromanaging.
So, oh, okay, so I'm just asking because I was just wondering that for the due diligence of being a board trustee who's responsible for spending of money, which is not only, it's grant money, but it's not just grant money, as we're hearing. So just to see with my own two eyes, the complexity of the scheduling. That's all I'm asking.
And
if you've done it, I don't see why it would be, it's not a big ask.
I just, like you asked your question and I just
Well,
feel that.
I heard everybody tell me I was overstepping,
Yeah.
but that's fine if you feel that way. I don't feel that way because it's hard as a board trustee. You get pages of appointments. I don't see the backup. So all this is asking for is the backup.
But that, to me, that's just extensive backup so you
Okay.
get, so you get the master, and that's your choice. You get the master schedule, you take a look at it. Now you're going to turn around and say to Dr. Talbot or to Ms. Stevens that I don't agree with the way this person is being scheduled here. They should be scheduled differently. You don't know all the intricacy about how someone is being scheduled and whatnot. So to me, why do we need to get into the weeds of that? So that's just my perspective on it. You have your perspective on it. You feel that you need the weeds in order to make your
No,
decision.
I don't think it's the weeds. I think it's not, it shouldn't.
Excuse me, no
I don't-
comments from the community. Thank you very much.
I can't even imagine that this would be that hard to produce. And you're making it seem like maybe I would see something, but I don't think I would. And I don't know why I couldn't see it anyway.
Any other
What's happening
questions on
on
this, please?
Saturdays? What's envisioned for Saturday? That's just for parents or it's for parents and students?
There are two different programs. So there are student programs, which again, focus on, we've identified students who have gaps and the programs are focused on filling in those gaps. And then there are parent programs that will be running for 6 weeks out of the total program for parents.
Okay, so can I?
Go ahead.
Yes, because my questions had to do with Saturday too. I was looking for a better vision of what the Saturday program might look like. So can you just give me like a time frame, like a start and end time? Like what are we thinking?
Sure. The instructional time is 9 to 11 Saturdays. They'll be starting at the end of February, running through, I think the first week in May is the end of our time period. We'll be looking, each building did an identification of the students who would benefit. And they invited students for the Saturday and the after-school programs.
Okay, and how many students on Saturday can this program hold?
So it varies based on the grade level and the availability of students, but we can expand it if there are more students who are available to attend. We want them to be small groups of instruction. So there are probably 20 to 25 slots per building to start off with. If there's a greater need, we have the ability to expand.
Okay. Will the board be notified, and I hope this doesn't happen, if attendance is not what we expect?
Certainly.
Okay, because after a couple of sessions, if it's woefully low and it's really not a good use of the funds, we need to reconsider that so that the board can say, hey, listen, we have to apply those funds to remediation or we have to do something else.
Are there particular guidelines that are connected with this recov? So to Mr. Leon's point, it's if it was redirected, there's only certain ways that it could be redirected if there's, that's my question.
It would have to fit in the program
guide-
that we wrote about, but yes,
Which isn't very hard to do. We can make it work.
correct.
No,
This
I'm
is
I'm
not
I'm not
new.
questioning you, I'm just
This
just
is
asking.
not new. We've done this before.
Yeah.
So this is the first time we're doing it during the
That-
school year.
Okay.
They had been summer programs before that, but the model is largely the same that we're
as
using.
the Saturdays.
Small
You've done
group and
Saturdays.
individualized
Yeah.
tutoring. First time Saturdays.
The first time Saturdays. What
Yes.
did you used to do? What did you do on Saturdays with the parents?
There was a pre-K parent empowerment
what it was.
program, and
Okay.
there were Title III programs
Thank
that ran for parents on Saturdays
Thank
as
you.
well.
Any other questions regarding the recovs?
Just a comment. I do feel that there is a certain level of trust that we have to put in the paid professionals in these positions, and that looking at these additional assignment schedules and timesheets would be a little bit of an overreach in our board capacity, in my opinion.
Okay, any other comments on these items? All right, so we have a motion for agenda item 3B, 3A to 3II. We had a first and second. We had a discussion. All those in favor? Aye.
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 All those, anyone opposed?
Opposed?
Motion carries 5-1. And Megan Messman is the no, and it's Carol Seehoff,
Yes.
Chris Naren, Lisa Johnson, Juan Leon, and Leslie Kretz. Can I have a motion for agenda item 3B dash 3LL through 3KK? KKK.
Can you stop at GG? GGG.
I don't think I'm.
Right, can I have a motion for 3BL,
Motion.
3B dash 3LL through 3GGG?
Motion to approve.
Juan Lino is first, Chris Neer in a second. Any discussion on these items? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed?
Opposed?
Motion carries 5-1. Carol Seehoff, Chris Naren, Lisa Johnson, Juan Leon, and Leslie Kretz. And Megan Messman is a no. Can I do HHII and KKK altogether? Or does that need to be done separately?
I have a question about I.
Can I do it all together, or do you, would it affect your vote? That's what I just need to know, so I need to know whether I'm doing it separately or not.
No, you can do it together.
Right. All right, so I'm going to do a motion for 3B dash 3, 3HHH to 3KKK. So 3B dash 3HHH to 3 dash KKK. You have a motion?
Motion.
Chris Neering, Leslie Kretz. Discussion on these items.
I just have a question on the additional assignment for the building level leader reading. Is that the entire grade level, the building, or the reading department?
It's the building level, so it's not just grade level. It primarily focuses on the reading department, but also the support the reading department provides
Okay.
in the general class.
So she would be the leader for the reading department, the entire, in that building?
Correct.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments on these items? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So motion carries 6-0. Can I do agenda items 3B 6A through 3B 7A through 7E altogether? No, I just said 3B dash 3 6A to 3 7A through 7E. And can I also just add on there 7G through 7K as well?
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Juan Leon is first.
Second.
Chris Neeren is second. Any discussion on these items? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Can I please do 3B 8A, 9A, 10AB, 10D through 10I altogether? 10H, sorry, altogether.
Yes.
So
Yes.
once again, it's 8A, 3B 8A, 9A, 10A through B, 10D through 10H. Can I do that all together?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Juan Leon is first, Chris Neeren is second. Any discussion on these items? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. There's something else I gotta add on here. All right, can I have a motion for agenda item 3C 1 and 2?
So moved.
Second.
Leslie Kretz is first. Chris Neeren is second. Any discussion on these items? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carries 6-0. We do have another, we have to amend the agenda to add agenda item 3C3. I think I misplaced the resolution. I'm sorry, I think I misplaced that. It's for use of facilities?
Yes.
Yeah, for the village.
Yes. I apologize because so it's amended agenda item 3C3, which is use of facilities. And it's use of facilities for the village for the Park Avenue for the election. Thank you. All right. So it's a resolution, whereas the Amityville Union Free School District has received a request for the use of facilities, and said request has been approved by the building principal and the interim assistant superintendent for finance and operations. Be resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, Dr. Gina Talbot, that the Board of Education of the Amityville Union Free School District hereby approves the use of facilities by the Village of Amityville for Park Avenue Elementary School Gym on Wednesday, March 18th for village election from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. So the motion is to amend the agenda to add this resolution. 3C3.
Motion.
Chris Neeren is first. Leslie Kretz is second. Any discussion on this resolution that I just read? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. Can I have a motion for agenda item 3C3?
Motion.
Second.
Chris Neeren, Carol Seehoff. Any discussion on this resolution for use of facilities? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 6-0. All right, can I have a motion for agenda item 3F1, please?
Motion.
I'm sorry. Can I have a motion for agenda item 3D1 and 3D2?
Motion.
Chris Neeren is first, Carol Seehoff is second. Any discussion on these agenda items? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 6-0. Now, can I have a motion for agenda item 3F1, please?
Motion.
Second.
Carol Seehoff is first, Chris Neeren is second. Any discussion on this item? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. I'm sorry, Leslie, and Leslie, were you yes or no? Okay. Motion carries 6-0. Old business. No, that got pulled.
We skipped
We're
it.
not calling that
We're
one.
not calling that one. Okay. Old business.
Let me check now, President. I might have something.
Any new business, anyone? Old business, new business, anyone?
So I would say new business. I heard the students talk about a balance between Chromebooks and paper, and I absolutely love that. And I would think that it would be great that the board and central administration think about implementing next year, whether it be a day, no Chromebooks, a week. I'd love to consider that.
Does that again, saying don't use any Chromebook?
Like a day a week, like just no Chromebooks. I think screens are have extremely negative impact on student attention, and yeah, it can be a great tool, but also definitely impacts the development of the mind.
Any other, any old business or any new business? Okay, at this point in time, we're going to move to I can't even talk. Community input regarding non-board agenda items only. You just have to state your name.
Michael McDonald. I sat here.
Yeah, there should be a paper that you have to fill out, yeah. In
For
the
what?
back, yeah, in the back on the table, please.
All right, Michael McDonald. I'm a community member, live in East Massapequa.
Can I?
I sat here for 3 hours and I just listened to a lot of hostility amongst the board members. I listened to a lot of hostility amongst the members of this audience, but not a lot of talk about curriculum, just budgeting. And I would like to hear about moving forward with the curriculum more in these board meetings. I'd like to see it more geared towards the children and the children's learning. That's it. Thank you.
I need you to fill out a form, Mr. McDowell. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Good evening, Caroline Fanning. Yes, I totally agree with what the students said and what with Trustee Messman reiterated about the need to have a better balance between paper assignments and Chromebook learning. I still get the NISPA emails, and Tech-Free Tuesdays is a thing. Other schools are already doing it. So there is a movement afoot to move away from Chromebooks, and I see no reason why Amityville can't be a part of it. I want to make a specific plug for doing it in math, because I know that trying to help my kids when they struggle with math, I grab a paper and pen and they look at me like I'm crazy because their teacher has only delivered math lessons to them through a Chromebook. And I've had to advocate to get help, get calculators, and get the teachers to understand why, okay, it's great. There's all these tools online that can help kids learn, but sometimes all they need is a paper and pencil. And when it comes time to prepare for Regents, you're not going to have your Chromebook in the Regents room. You're going to have, if you're lucky, a calculator. So high school students and eighth graders who are taking the math Regents need to prepare for that. So that was the other thing. The timesheet issue about needing a second signature, this seems like a complete case of do as I say, not as I do. Other job sites require double signatures. Your own auditor has said that you need it. So for at the board level to say, no, we don't need this, but everyone else beneath us should, seems really like a double standard and no way to get the people you're supposed to lead to follow your example because you're not setting an example. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephanie Andrews, Amityville. Two things. One has to do with the district clerk timesheets that were discussed tonight. There had to be a resolution appointing, appointing the district, am I talking too loud? Appointing the district clerk, and then there should have been defined her hours. I would like to know, since the board president, unless it's a resolution that identified, it has no authority to sign timesheets, who has been signing her timesheets? Who has defined her hours of work? Does she just have unlimited time? There's no end to how much she spends here? You know, in the past, and not just the boards I was on, all the boards have a district clerk pro tem. Sometimes it's the board member, sometimes the assistant super, because most of the additional meetings don't require a clerk, because there's almost no minutes generated. So there is really no, and I've been to some meetings where I'm wondering why the district clerk is there. It's an added expense that should be used for the students. And based on the fact that there was a resolution now for 2 signatures, which is totally appropriate to do, since when do we have only have 1 signature? We don't do it in any other venue in the district. I'd like to know who's been authorizing her time. We have an answer to
I
that?
signed the timesheets right now.
So you signed it without board resolution to do that? You have no authority. You have apparent authority, but you have no legal authority outside of this boardroom. So you're on the hook for that. Technically, if someone in the community wants to sue the district, because you had no authority to do it, she would be entitled to whatever she worked as any other employee in the state under the Labor Act. So that's the first thing. The last thing I have to do is just basically a statement. I want to.
There's a contract.
I'm sorry, what?
There's a contract that provides for the district clerk's hours.
Her contract is online that says how many hours she works, and she could go beyond that for whatever she wants to put in for. I don't think the contract says that, does it?
I'm telling you that there's a contract that provides for the hours.
Right, 25 hours. And after that, she just does whatever she wants? No board oversight? A board oversight is a board. It's not an individual. Nobody here has an individual authority. That was my point. And I'm not saying she's not entitled. She worked it. She's entitled to it under the law. Doesn't mean that the board should have allowed it to occur. The board should have stopped it the minute they found it out.
And it has been stopped. Thank you.
So,
Well, it may now, but as a taxpayer, we probably have recourse against you if you've been signing it without authority. You have no authority. Outside this boardroom, everybody's equal. And the only reason you have board president is because you run the meeting. You have no more vote power than anybody else here. So you don't have the authority to do something without a board resolution. That's why a resolution of 2 signatures is an appropriate thing. I just want to applaud Megan Messman and Juan Leon for tonight and in prior board meeting comments. And please do not apologize for asking pertinent questions, and in particular tonight, asking about what safeguards are in place to ensure that the RECOVID grant is implemented as required under the grant, and to ensure there's no overlap of our contractual versus grant funds, which would be contrary to New York State grants requirement. just because other board members choose to stay uninformed, uninvolved, unaware, and quote, trust the professionals, does not mean you should. Because clearly, several of these comments tonight from some have demonstrated that they have no clue to their fiduciary role and obligations as elected officials.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Deborah Lee. I'm speaking tonight as a proud taxpayer, a resident, and a proud alumni of this district. I believe in our schools. I really do believe in our schools. We cannot continue to accept constant leadership turnover. We just can't. Over the years, we've seen administrator after administrator come into our schools and then leave. That instability has real consequences for students, staff, and our families. I am not asking for new leadership. I am asking for consistent leadership that stays. Consistency leads to stability. Everyone knows stability builds trust. Trust is what allows academic excellence to take root and grow for every child in Amityville. Our community wants trust, stability, and academic excellence. Our students deserve steady leadership similar to other local school districts. Our educators deserve support they can rely on. Amityville deserves leaders who are committed for the long term. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Sorry for not being here and supporting you all. And I just wanted to, oh, let me give you my. To the finance gentleman, thank you for your comprehensive report. It was excellent. Thank you. And to all of you, I'm going to echo what Ms. Lee said in regards to stability and making sure that this Amityville School District, which I am alumni of and proudly to be, just stays on course, stays on action, asks the right questions, but be deliverable in whatever you receive and what you put out. This school board has gone through a lot, and I commend you all for doing what you do in your job. And you always have been on point. Maybe some stuff, we tend to get a little overzealous about. But for this district, for the curriculum, for the children, thank you for taking care of our children. And that's what it is about at the end of the day. I want to also invite you guys, and Superintendent, you mentioned it, to the Town of Babylon putting on and hosting the Black History Program here on the 25th and at the high school. And I hope you all will join us. It's surely to be a great program. And we want to be highlighting some folks in the community that's over because it's about 100 years of history. And so the honorees that we will be honoring have been in our community, in our town of Babylon for over 100 years. So I am just imploring you to try to stay the course. We don't need the back and forth. It's not healthy. It's not good for the district. It's not good for each one of you and the tirelessly effort that you put in trying to make this school healthy and moving forward. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. And for whatever it's worth, I'm proud of you. Let's keep moving forward and let's keep some stability. And like she said, changing leadership at this time, not good. Let's move on and let's do what we have to do as a district and stay positive and work together. We are human beings and the children are looking at you and we'll have to mentor them. And if they keep seeing change after change, it's not healthy for the district. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you for having me. And I appreciate you all. And let's do the work that you came here to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening to Dr. Gina Talbot, the superintendent, to Ms. Lisa, the president, to the board, and to the administration. I am Bishop Walter Willie, one of the leaders of this community, and I come here with concerns for our community, for our school board. We always have friendly discussions everywhere we go in life. It's easy to find fault in people with our personal opinion. But the end of finding fault, we ought to come together as people who are concerned for the best interest of everyone in our community. You said that we got a surplus in our money. Look at the history. The last few years before that, there was no surplus. So therefore, the administration is doing something positive to show that we're doing something good. So why do you keep on finding or want to find some fault when all they try and do is make things better for the community? It takes everybody, the administration, the board, the community, the parents, and especially our students to make it work for the good of all of us. And in order for things to work, it's going to take all of us working together for the common good for this community. Because when one hurt, we all hurt. When one is successful, we all are successful. Why keep on trying to find ways to keep on tearing apart little things that's going to affect all of us? Think about it. It's only always a small group that comes to this community, and there's over 20,000 people in Amityville. A few people should not speak for the whole community. Some people research information and bring it here. Others have no idea. But at the end of the day, we got to give accountability of one another. Therefore, you know, there's four things that people need in life. One is respect, accountability. Another one is trust. One is a spirit of unity. So if we don't learn to put together, it's going to affect all of us, and nobody's going to win.
Thank you.
Good evening. So we heard from two non-taxpayers. Your decisions affects taxpayers. You represent taxpayers. You represent the voters. You represent the children. Non-taxpayers, non-voters are irrelevant. I heard a couple of things about accountability and trust. Absolutely, that's what we're doing. Taxpayers and voters are holding the board accountable. I heard from the board president, shockingly, that a trustee was getting in the weeds by asking for backup. You are fiduciaries. You are steward of the taxpayers' money. It is a high level of responsibility. Trusting professionals, being on a board of education requires critical thinking. You don't just hand your power over to people and say, they're going to make the decisions for you. And what's interesting is the people that voted against two signatures, shocking, literally shocking, that does happen in the real world, in the business world, and it's financial controls. So you're saying you don't want financial controls. I actually wrote the job posting for the district clerk, so I know it's not more than 25 hours except for election season. Last year, the board president, we didn't know, was signing off on carrying over time, and the district clerk took 2 to 3 weeks off without the entire board even knowing she did that. And I know that it happened again because we heard it in, I think, the last meeting or the meeting before that. That is not entitlement. That's a gift of public funds, and it is in violation of the New York State Constitution, Article 6. If you do it, you're open to a lawsuit by any taxpayer. Any single one of us can file a lawsuit and will win. You're in violation of the New York State Constitution. The entire meeting was painful to listen to. It really amplified that most of you don't know what you're doing. You have no idea about board procedure, board policies, how a board works, and it is quite embarrassing, to be honest. The people that voted not to have 30 days for a central administration position, again, shows you're out of your depth. You don't know what you're doing. It's a high-level position. It should have went out for 30 days, and you voted against it. And the people that voted against it, or I think one trustee said that Megan was out of line for something. You are also the people that overspent the budget by millions of dollars. So trust me when I say I don't even believe or care about one thing that you say or do, other than the fact that you're impacting my taxes, you're impacting negatively the children of the district and the taxpayers. You all are responsible for the failures in the budget. And also, when they talk about accountability and, we should be nice, and there, I think the word was, there was some stuff, and another person said, I forgot what the other word was, stuff and things going on. Things going on. We've had two flawed budgets. The superintendent has had two flawed budgets, and
Excuse me,
you're on
Ms.
your way to
Castro,
number 3.
Your time is up on.
Okay, I'm just
Thank you.
finishing.
Excuse me,
Okay.
your time is up. Thank you.
Excuse me?
Excuse me.
Entitled to speak. I'm a taxpayer.
Excuse me, can
I'm
we
not
keep
yelling.
moving on?
I'm speaking loudly.
Thank you. Ladies, please. And just keep in mind that as a Board of Education, yes, we do have the opportunity to have open, people can ask questions on non-agenda items. And as the policy already states, it talks about being respectful when you come to the mic. So I do have the authority to stop anyone who's not being respectful when they come to the mic. Go ahead, please. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jacqueline Watkins, a resident of Amityville, close to 60 years. My children went to the school district, graduated, and I am a retiree of the Amityville School District. And I really not happy about the way I see things going on here tonight. I'm 82 years old, a senior citizen, still loving and caring about the children of this community. But for me to have to come out in this cold weather and sit here and listen to a lot of foolishness, you see just about everybody else has gone home. If you want the support of the community, you need to conduct yourselves better. I believe in continuity. I believe in keeping the way things work for the community. As someone said, it's too much turnover. Even I noticed myself when I look through the papers, somebody, they're leaving already. We need someone that loves the community, love kids, love children, not to get up here and be petty about every little thing. Because to me, that does not show love and concern for the community. That's just you want to get up here and argue and find something to fight about. And it's not necessary, and it's not fair to the community. Non-payers are not non-payers. This is a human society. And I think we should treat each other better. You might not believe in God, but God and Jesus said love. Love. They made a big to-do about the concert this weekend. They had nothing to do with love. So I wish that you would just conduct yourselves a little better and set up the agenda a little better so that people don't have to sit here all night thinking that they might be able to say something, thinking that they might be able to hear something. And it's just foolishness. I'm missing my time of taking my medication because I had no idea I'd be here this long. I wish you would look at things a little differently, Dr. Albert. I know I don't have your name right, Dr. Talbert. I love you.
Thank you.
Hi again, it's Deborah Lee. 2 points here. Is it possible to consider moving community input at the beginning or middle of the agenda? Many community members sitting next to me left and were not able to speak. And I think it's important for people to speak at these meetings, especially if they take time to get here. So I think if you guys consider that, that would be awesome. My second point is taxes. I hear taxpayer, 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 taxpayer. I am a taxpayer. I'm an alumni, and I do not have any problems with every single cent of my taxes going to this district. I support this district, and I'm sick and tired of hearing people that do not support the district complain about tax dollars. It is our taxes. We are here to educate the children. Let's educate the children. My taxes, I go to work, I pay taxes. It's that simple. Taxes, school district. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Margaret Shaw, Amityville. One question, what is the status of the RPF for the super search? I asked that at the last time at the podium.
There's no RFPF. There's no request for proposal for superintendent search at this time.
What's your timeline for that to happen?
Currently, we don't have a timeline.
So you're
What
gonna wait
rough-
till it's too late and then do
No,
shenanigans?
as soon as the Board of Education makes a decision on the matter, we will let the public know.
Okay, because you're really overdue on that. It really takes time and
I
effort
know,
to
we've,
find
I think all of
quality,
us on the
find
board have been
quality
involved.
people.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, like a 30-month opening on a job posting would help. Those things should be standard and not flagrantly disregarded. But I just want to say this overwhelming theme. I actually thought, like maybe some months ago, that there was a glimmer of hope for this board. I really, but I do want to echo whoever commented regarding Trustee Messman and Trustee Leon. You guys are stars. You ask poignant questions, provoking questions, and major points that are effective and should be considered, where your colleagues just dismiss you. And it's really disgusting and a shame. I just can't. And we talk about unity. Yeah, we'd have great unity. We'd have great unity if the standards were set to a bar that the kids could read, that the kids could do math, that you had a normal budget and did all the things that comprise a decent school district. I've gone to this podium and asked before, there are similar school districts in this area that have similar demographics, similar everything. And do you ever lean on somebody? Do you ever look at somebody else and say, you know what, they did it. They're doing it right. What are they doing that we're not doing? You constantly have to lean on the professionals that are actually doing it right. We're not doing it right here. The stats stink. You couldn't do a budget to save your life because you're either slashing special education, you're slashing heads, you're slashing teachers, and all the kids suffer. You talk about instability but they slashed 70 head count and then wound up with a $10 million plus budget. So who's not doing the math? Who's not doing the work? And it's absolutely mind-boggling to sit here week or month after month and see the people who don't say a word, the two people that are actually doing the work, who are interested enough to actually get to the bottom of to the nitty-gritty and realize what it takes. So I applaud you, Trustee Leon and Trustee Messman, because it's absolutely amazing what you bring to the table. And thank you. And as far as our cheering section, if I don't know, are they on the payroll for the cheering section? Because I just don't understand how these non-tax-paying citizens, I get your alumni and everything else, but the cheering section, it's really got to go.
This is a continuation of what I had written. Yeah, I gave you the sheet. Okay, I'm going to speak. Yeah, I'm entitled to speak.
No, you're not. You're not entitled to speak. When it comes to public comments, it's the board's right to whether or not they're going to have public comments. So
No, yes, I understand.
So-
Correct. Yes, you're correct. The
you.
board doesn't have to, but they choose to. So thank you. A couple of things came up tonight. I think you've passed 4 resolutions, and in listening to the deliberations, you said that you emailed the resolutions to the district clerk. Trustee Messman asked for them to be on the agenda, and they weren't on the agenda. That's in violation of open meetings law. You had it ahead of time, way in advance. Counsel?
No, it's not in violation of the open meetings law. The resolutions were received by every single board member because it came, that's where it came from. So every single board member had the resolutions. And according to board policy, when it comes to agenda items, the superintendent looks at the agenda along with the board president.
Wait a
We have
second,
a-
my time's going. She didn't stop my
No.
time, so you've been talking for a
I'm
while.
I'm watching the time, so we'll give you more.
Okay,
All right,
yeah,
so-
I should get
so
like
there's-
30
there's-
seconds
there's-
back.
There's no violation. There wasn't 30 seconds, but go ahead.
Okay, so I was on the board when council said, open meetings laws, if you have it far in advance, you have to put it on the agenda so the public has a right to see it. Are you saying that council was incorrect? Because I was on the board when he said it.
Keep going.
I'm asking that question.
I'm going to let you keep going.
Okay, so council told the Board of Education that I was on is in violation of open meetings law. The second thing is, the superintendent said something interesting. She said that she didn't have a directive about the 30 days, keeping the posting open for 30 days, which proves to every board member, specifically trustee Leon and trustee Messman, that you have to call a resolution for absolutely everything, because she will do nothing unless you do a directive. Also, let me just see a couple of things. Oh, about the taxpayers, I'm a taxpayer and I don't care, every single dollar. It's not up to me to educate taxpayers about misappropriation or misspending and how budgets work. It's a $130 million budget, which is huge. It's bigger than the village budget, bigger than the library budget, and you guys are in a position that you have to be responsible. It's not about love. We could be nice to each other, which doesn't seem to happen here. But this is about responsibility and accountability and holding our elected officials responsible. You're elected. It doesn't matter that you're a volunteer. You're an elected official. That comes with responsibility. Also, I'm confused about this grant. There's Saturday is for parents and students. What are the parents doing for 6 weeks?
We have your question and
Well,
Ms. Stevens
hold on a
can give it
second.
back to you.
We were told that it's for region support. So what are parents doing there? And you're asking the board to vote on something. They voted on something. It's an expenditure. As a taxpayer, I'd like to know what the money is going to for the parents. That's my tax dollars going towards that. What are parents doing on Saturdays?
We have the question and we have the question. And
So you're only picking and choosing answering certain people?
no, I've answered other questions as well from you. So it may take.
But that's a simple question. What are you doing on Saturday?
So
Why is that
I-
difficult?
I just stated that we have your question. I'm looking at the time. We have like 8 minutes left and there's 3 people that still want to speak. So we have
But
your
Lisa,
question.
that's an easy answer. Ms. Stevens obviously knows about the grant. What is happening on Saturdays?
Once I get finished with everyone else's questions, we'll answer your question.
Okay, this district will never move forward with the trustees here. I look forward to the election and voting you all out.
Thank you.
Jacqueline Stevenson. I have a couple of questions. My daughter was in the class that had the busted pipe issue this week. So a couple things. It seems like the buses were delayed because of that issue. So in the future, if somehow the parents can be contacted that there is going to be a delay because my husband was at the bus stop waiting for her and called me at work, so we were a little concerned about that. Another thing is what is being done to prevent that from happening? Someone said it was a frozen pipe. What is being done to prevent that from happening?
So I think we have that question. I think they spoke about it earlier. So what I'm going to do to allow everyone to continue to have a voice, I believe it's being addressed or has been addressed. It's been repaired. So I'm not too sure. Was this a?
No, I mean in other classrooms. What is being done to prevent that type of issue from happening again?
I don't have a response to that. I'm not too sure if you're able to answer, we need to hold on to the question.
So due to the freezing temperatures, we can't guarantee that something like that would not happen, because it was extremely cold and the pipe burst. I'm sure some of us have also encountered some incidences due to the freezing temperatures. The radiator pipe that did burst has been repaired, and our HVAC system is aged.
Okay, and my other question was, just to reiterate what trustee Seehoff spoke about earlier regarding the gym, the heat in the gym for the CYO basketball practices. Not just the practices, but the games, because my son actually had practice tonight, and I was waiting in the hallway to try and pull one of you into the gym so you could feel the sauna. It's dangerously hot in there, and I think it's just an easy fix if someone could pass the word on to whoever's in charge of the heat for practices and basketball games. Thank you.
Thank you. We just need the sheet again. You have to, you have to do the sheet, yeah. Did you provided the sheet already? Okay.
Well, Yvette, you gotta fill out one. That's kind of wasting of paper. Okay. All right, I just, want to reiterate that I don't have time for nonsense. And, I don't need to explain why I'm here to no one. And most of you or all of you know who I am. And I respect you. I don't come up to the mic, yell at you, or put you down or be disrespectful to you, because that's not who I am. And I will never be that person. But I know that anybody from the community can come and speak. I am a town of Babylon resident, and I don't think I need to dictate where I live and what taxes I pay in the town of Babylon, because that's not important here. The important issue here is our children, and that they get a good education, and that this board, which I think that y'all are doing, and it's not just two people, it's the whole board that is reflective of what's going on in our community and what we do and what we say and how we conduct ourselves. So being disrespectful doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. And when we're talking about how we're going to move our school district forward, which I'm very invested in, because again, my family was very invested in the school. My mother sat on this board for years and years. And I am just disturbed that every time I come here, that I have to hear that I'm a non-taxpayer. No, I'm a taxpayer. I'm a homeowner and very proud of it. So I'm just so sorry that I got to keep coming back up here and telling you this, but I just wanted to make that clear. And I know we're not supposed to direct anything to the audience. I'm just speaking to you as a person who obviously cares about what happens with this board and this Amityville School District, and very invested in it. And I will continue to keep coming here and showing the respect to you all, and hoping and praying that our board continues to move forward in the direction of helping our children. Thank you so much. And
you.
again, sorry for keep coming back up here, because it's not necessary.
Michael McDonald again. I reiterate, I like what the young lady, the white sweater, said about, moving forward with the curriculum.
Just address it to us.
Okay, moving forward with the curriculum, doing more for the kids. I would like to see more of that. I understand the hostility coming from the section right here about the taxes, the amount of taxes they're paying. I'm also a taxpayer, I live in the school district, but I sent my daughter to a private school because I wasn't satisfied with the education that was being provided under Dr. Kelly. And I believe you understand that yourself, Mr. Leon, because you was down with that regime. So I can't even understand.
Just make it.
I can't understand
No, thank you.
how you're being praised now when you was with one of the most worst regimes that Amityville has ever had.
So, Mr. McDonald, you have to just kind of make a general comment. Please don't point out any particular board members or anything like
Well,
that. Thank you.
someone else was able to point out how well these two were doing. While I don't know the young lady, I'm sure she's a value to the board, but I could speak directly about you. You are not, and I don't even know how you got on this board again. However,
Sir, Mr. McDonald, what in your opinion makes me
Can we?
down?
I don't care.
down-
Yo,
No, no,
you're
no.
not being professional. You could talk to me outside if you like.
Excuse me, we're not gonna go back
You're
and
not on my
forth.
level, bro.
We're not gonna go back and forth.
What does
You-
down with the
you-
regime mean?
Mr. McDonald, you've made your comment, so let's just,
Point is,
yeah, just,
there's two separate sides, and it shouldn't be. There's education, okay? It doesn't matter whether you're a community member or a tax-paying citizen of this district or not. You have a vested interest, meaning you have a vested interest in the kids, and that's what we're all here for. I understand about the taxes, but did you send your children to the Amityville School District?
Yes.
Are you vested in the school district?
Yes.
Okay, not you. I'm not talking.
No, in case
so
you
just, you just have to
In
direct.
case you didn't know, I'm
Miss-
just letting you know, Mr. McDonald.
Excuse me, Mr. McDonald,
Right.
Mr. McDonald, you
Okay.
just have to, if you
So-
have a
so-
comment, you just
So
have to
with
direct it
that,
towards
with
us.
that in mind,
Thank you.
with that being said, rather, let's focus on the level of education that our children are getting within the school district, rather than the taxes. Because let's face it, there are other school districts that pay a lot more taxes than us, even though we are up there. But let's focus more on the kids. Let's come together as a community to build a better board, okay, if you're not satisfied with the board. But I see that this board is doing a lot better job than the previous board that was here under the Kelly regime. And that was only what, 4 or 5 years ago. So please, let's do better. Let's come together and do better.
Thank you. Before Ms. Andrews comes to the mic, just one quick thing. There was a question in regards to the Saturday. So go ahead, Ms. Stevens.
The Saturday parent program is designed to provide support to parents so they understand the value of attendance, how poor attendance can contribute to learning loss, to explain the curriculum to them, how they can support students at home, how to access information in the parent portal, all of the ways that they can support their child to prevent learning loss.
Thank you. Ms. Andrews?
Stephanie Andrews. The reason, the primary, sorry, I have to take this out. Hear myself talking. The primary duty is a financial fiduciary role is because without the money being properly spent per the law, that means the funds will not be available for the students, for the programs, and to ensure the financial stability of the district and not jeopardize staff jobs as evidenced by the 70-plus staff who were let go only a few years ago. I frankly don't understand why parents, now just so you know, renters are taxpayers too. I think the comment that people have made about they're non-Amityville School District residents. Nobody said Town of Babylon, Wyandanch, New Jersey shouldn't be coming here and commenting. Why? Because it's the students of this district that is being funded by the taxpayers of this district. And without those funds, with proper oversight, as we've seen, I have been coming now 4 budget cycles, and I can't believe 3 failed budget, 3 massive deficits the last time, and now all of a sudden we have a massive surplus miraculously shows up after the board with the new fiscal year. And parents better understand this. The leadership is what gets you the results. You don't have to wait 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. There needs to be clearly expressed goals. That wasn't done here. I'm not going to comment on the prior super, but I will comment on the super who produced the results in this district for the students of this district with no additional funds. That was Dr. DeSaw, double-digit improvement, every subject, every grade, and 2 schools off the list over a 2-year period that had to be done to get those schools off the list. And it was history making, not for Amityville, for New York State. Look it up. It can be done with no additional funds. So the fact that your students are not doing well says everything you need to know. And the constant, change, if the programs are good, the change of the leadership doesn't matter. Yes, it'd be nice to have the
Ms.
same
Andrews,
leader,
Ms.
but it
Andrews.
doesn't matter if the plan is good.
I'm sorry, at this point in time, we have completed, we have completed our, community input on hold on a second. We have completed our time frame on community input on non-agenda items. I just have to ask the board, do we want to take one more question or are we leaving it here?
Yes, motion to expand the time for the last speaker.
I'm okay with one more speaker.
If it's just a question, I'm fine with it, but we're not doing any more comments.
I'm asking for clarity, and it's about the process. When the resolution was passed 2 weeks ago to extend the superintendent of finance search, was the process restarted or just extended? I'm seeking clarity on what exactly was communicated to the candidates who were already in the running.
I think she already addressed that.
But I was confused. That's why I'm asking now, exactly what were they told? That they would have to apply again, or just that we're going to take 2 or 3 additional weeks?
The candidates received a letter stating that the board was reopening the position and that they were invited to apply.
A second time?
Yes.
Okay. So I can understand why Trustee Nearing would say that makes us look bad, because that is rather embarrassing. No one wants to look foolish, but to let the fear of looking foolish stop you from conducting a proper search for such a high stakes position, I think that gets to the crux of what's so wrong with this district. We're so concerned with how we look as opposed to how we actually perform. So a simple solution in that instance would be to tell the candidates you are in, the running, and we're just going to extend it for 3 weeks. Sorry if you thought you'd get an answer sooner, but we changed our mind. It's okay to change your mind, and it's okay to say we can do better. Since I was on the board, it was repeatedly stated that we want to conduct wide searches to cast a wide net. And the insistence on casting a small net, it doesn't serve the children of this district. And after hearing all night about how we have to show love, well, that's one way of showing love to the children of the district. And I say that as a parent of 2 kids in this district. Thank you.
At this point in time, can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
And the time is 11:23. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.